Um, I was shocked that she decided to pick herself. She definitely tried to have hers in that moment, and I was kind of cracking up the entire time because Tony just looked pissed. He looked so freaking mad. But I don't know. I mean, am I happy that they kind of just went their separate ways? I think it's for the best. I don't think Morgan has, in that moment at least, kind of like that in that moment. It doesn't seem like she owned any of her part in everything that went wrong. But strangely enough, and I know I'm sure maybe you'll have him on, Tony seems to not blame her at all in any of his interviews either. I've been waiting for the blame. He seems to feel like it was mostly on him. I don't know if that's just a man way to handle it, or he really feels that way. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to hearing about whatever karma she felt like she got her way, and what are all the things she felt like she did wrong. I'm really interested in that. I definitely feel like she could have gave Tony a heads up, to be fair, but she wanted to have her moment. So it was interesting TV, but it kind
Yeah,
of.
you didn't tell no lies about that. No, you made a good point. The interview, he didn't actually put any kind of blame on her at all, which was interesting. Hmm. Uh, any thoughts added to what Siwe just said there? Want to add a little something? No. Okay, cool. So let me ask a question then. Obviously, they had the date. I say date, but the meeting with her brother. So Morgan and the brother and Tony. I want to get your thoughts. What did you guys see from that? Because I felt like, you know what, there was, I don't know, it was, I think it might have been a overspeak. So in a meeting, but it was an overspeak. But what it sounded like to me, and if my brain is really hearing what I think I heard, it sounded like even though her and her brother are close but not super close, right? But it also sounded like as if like this is one of the few times that he's actually properly defended her, almost like she wasn't expecting it. You know what I mean from him. So it felt like then when I heard that, I said, I wonder what the family dynamic was like because if this is one of the few times he's defended you, it must mean that there's other things that have been happening that you felt like you wanted to be defended on that you haven't been defended on. So you've had to defend yourself in a sense. So that was quite interesting as well. But I want to get your thoughts. What was your thoughts on the brother talking with Tony? I mean, he made a few threats as well. I have to come and find you situation, which is fair. I get it because of the information he had been given. But if Morgan had told all the information, he would have sat his ass down somewhere and kept his mouth shut and be like, "Listen, I hear you. You're both a problem." And I'd have been like, "Because I don't. My siblings know me. If you know you mad, don't be calling me to a mad situation, acting as if you're innocent. Especially when I know your character. And if you're a sibling, you know your siblings. You know your siblings. Sometimes I'll be like, I know you got a slick mouth. So I know for sure you had one thing to say. So I know. Don't tell me half the story. Tell me the full story. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna jump in there until you give me the full story. So I want to get your thoughts on that. What did you guys glean from that? Yes, we go for it.
Were we supposed to be afraid of that brother? Was that brother supposed to be
What you,
scary? I don't know. I wasn't feeling the. I feel like he was looking for a particular moment that didn't give. Like it wasn't giving
who's saying?
whatever he was trying to present didn't really work. I think he was trying to have like that like I'm big bro moment. It just gave kind of like little bro. I don't know. It just really didn't go. I think Tony was being polite and entertained the man because he really likes Morgan, but like I wasn't scared at all. So I know Tony wasn't afraid in the least bit. Also, I I have two brothers, right? We're really close in age. I'm not telling my brothers all of my like business. I don't know. I know some people's situation is different. And I grew up a tomboy. Like we played basketball with each other literally every day outside. So we were relatively close, but I'm not telling my brothers all of my business. I think that's weird. Um And when you tell your brother all your business like that, what he's supposed to do with that information? And that leads me to number 3. If you have a brother that is crazy, like let's just say he is crazy. Let's give him a benefit of the doubt, right? Let's just give him a benefit of the doubt. I hate when sisters put their brothers in predicaments. Because if I know my brother will pull it, which is quite possible, you know, he would get upset. I'm not putting my brother in that position to get to tussling with my man and future man. I just don't want my brother part of it. And I just feel like sometimes when women, we get carried away, you want to get your brother to get all big bro and confront a man. Things go left real quick. So, and I done seen recently on TikTok and other places of that type of stuff going left because the sister done got their brother in some mess. I see all that to say, I think it's weird, the oversharing. Like, you should not be telling your brother, your mama, all that stuff about what Tony got going on in his bedroom before you. That was weird. Telling half stories, weird. And then finally, her brother was not convincing at all. Like, at all. So that's what I got.
Perfect.
Yeah, I agree. The brother wasn't like menacing or anything like that, and Tony seemed to not be phased at all. I mean, he's from New York, so he probably has seen or been around some stuff already. He's not afraid, but I think the intimidation was a tactic to try and test whether Tony's strong enough and how he handles the situation. Because remember, like, the brother was briefed by Morgan certain things, and she omitted a lot of information about her culpability, as C-Ray said. And that obviously is going to taint the brother's view of the guy that he's going to meet now. So Tony didn't rise to it. And I think it was an attempt to see if he could push these buttons, because he's heard that he's a hothead. He's heard that he gets mad and all this stuff, other stuff, right? And even with the threats, you would have thought that Tony would have retaliated in some way if he was truly a hothead like that. But I think the thing that might push Tony's buttons is more to do with his emotions and how he's feeling about Morgan. So because he cares about her so much, I'm only guessing, obviously, my opinion. If he cares about her so much, then anything she does is going to get him irate faster than what anybody else can do. So that's what I took from that. She needs validation as to what she was going to do later on in the episode. She didn't stop the brother at all. If she thought it was leading anywhere, like, she didn't nip it in the bud. She was quite happy to let it go on, you know. So yeah, like, you got to give props in that moment to Tony just playing it cool and just trying to get through the date.
Yeah, I think C-Ray brings up a good point around, being careful how you stoke the flames, right? Because once you start that fire, you don't, it's not always as easy to extinguish it as you may think, right? And some of us, we know people that like to start fires. That's a problematic behavior, and I see that with Morgan. Like, she likes to start all these little fires and see what happens. And then, sometimes it gets out of control, and then sometimes she gets burned, right? She loved having Lyndon and Tony fight over her until she got blown up in the middle of it. And then she got burned because she found out that Tony made a statement like, if Marcia was still around, he would be with her. So I think, the lessons need to be clearly learned. And from the sounds of it, I didn't really watch too much of the interviews that he's done yet. Maybe saw like the first 10, 15 minutes, but it sounds like he's done some work, which is good. It definitely, is good. And I think none of these people are bad people. I heard you do a review, I think it was a Love is Blind one, where you mentioned about people are people confusing their behavior with making them bad people, right? But I think there's folks with bad behavior, and the bad behavior can be worked on. It doesn't make you a bad person, right? So I think it's the same for him and the same for her. I don't think Morgan is an inherently just bad person. She just has bad behavior that is going unchecked. And if it's unchecked and continues to be unchecked, she will continue to make bad decisions for herself, and anyone around her is going to be taken down by her lack of inability to see herself in the decisions that she's made. And the brother, again, he's just a pawn in her game of trying to prove a point or build a narrative that she has built up for what she ultimately, if she's really being honest with herself, she knows that Tony is not the one for her. And this is just my assumption. This is how I'm parsing it out. I think that she leveraged the situation with Natasha to build a case for why she shouldn't be with Tony, versus realizing that they just both were not ready to be together. And there were things that both of them displayed that didn't make them ready for the relationship. But she built a case around it and made it about him and his poor decision making versus her. Because that takes the spotlight off of her and her being accountable for her actions and the things that she did wrong in the process, and makes it more about Tony. And I'll land my plane there.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you. Like, I think, this situation in regards to Morgan and her brother, you said a good word there, Sean. It's a setup. And it's a setup, and it's a bad setup, because it's you're bringing someone else into the situation again, and without full knowledge. So actually, it sets the person up to be in a place where they're without. And what if he, and the first thing the brother starts doing is threatening. And I get it, I don't have to come and find you. It's like, but you set your brother up. Now, let's say the brother can fight. Well, what if Tony hits him once and his head hits the pavement and he dies? Like, you have to really think about these situations. They're dumb situations that you don't want to be regretting, because you're moving in a very toxic manner. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to set up my sister that way. I wouldn't want to set my brother that way. I wouldn't want to set up family that way. You know what I mean? We got to be very careful how we set situations up. And this felt like a little big setup, because you told half the truth. And then, your brother's a bit of some type of way. And, you're almost kind of wanting him to grill her. She's almost wanting the brother to grill Tony. But it's like, sis, if you already know what you want to do, you don't need your brother to grill him. Again, I'm not saying that, the brother shouldn't, be checking him and making sure that he ain't doing nothing. I'm just kind of saying it did feel like a little bit of a setup. And I was like, this feels a little bit ominous and a little bit dangerous. And it's in alignment with kind of the behaviors we've seen of Morgan over the course of this season as well. A bit tricky, Yes, we go for it. And then I'll get Lola in.
I think this is helpful for a lot of people who may have this trait going beyond like toxic, but what about it makes it toxic? I think over the course of the season, and Sean kind of hinted at that, Morgan has a serious attention-seeking problem. And because she needs so much attention, it doesn't matter if it's good attention or bad attention. And then when the attention gets too bad, like how you guys mentioned with the Lyndon and Tony situation, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I can't deal with this. It's too much. But this is what happens when you have an attention-seeking problem. And she'll get the attention from Lyndon, from Tony, now from her brother. Wherever she can get it from, she's trying to get that attention. And sometimes you have to think about, okay, is this the type of attention that I want? She's always trying to have a moment. Even her exit was a moment, attention-seeking. You know what I mean? That's something she's really going to have to work on, because like you said, I don't think she's a bad person, but if you're a victim to your own attention-seeking needs, and honestly, a lot of people who come on these shows want a lot of attention. If you weren't, you probably wouldn't even be on this show. So you're already naturally in an environment with people who may have this trait, but she has it even more than the average person on this show. And I think if she worked on that, a lot of the stuff that we see would be improved. You know, I think that's where her downfall is.
Appreciate Seaway. Lola, good to have you on board. We're talking about Tony and Morgan. Want to get your thoughts and the brother situation.
All right. Well, it's good to be here. Well, hey Kojo. Hey everyone.
Good to
So look, so you know me, like I see this kind of different. Now I know y'all can't see my face, so you can't see my expressions, but this is what I think. Now with Morgan, is Morgan the perfect woman? She's not. But I see completely different. This is what I see. I see a woman who actually liked this guy. Now, as a woman, I have liked a guy who I didn't think was good for me. Now, were they really in love? I don't know. But did they have chemistry that they both didn't have control over? I definitely feel like they had chemistry. Now, when did things, I don't think she was trying to make an exit or make an example out of him. Now, I can't explain why she kept bringing up Natasha because I thought that was kind of low. But I feel like once they had that showdown in the house where when it came out that he had said something about, yeah, if Marcia was here, you could have Morgan. That cut to the bone, that cut to the white meat, because for Morgan's looking at this guy like, this possibly could be my forever, because she has said it countless times at the age of 37 or 39, I can't remember. She wants to settle down within 2 years, so she's not here to play. And Tony appeared to agree with that too. Now, of course, he had other things she liked. Maybe she found him physically attractive. She thought maybe he was financially stable. He had certain things she thought that he could, deliver for her. And it got to that point when that information came out, when he and Lyndon were beefing, that really hurt. There were points in the house when she was crying, and there was a point where she said, and I don't think you can act, she's not an actress, when she said, when Tony is angry, he's not kind. Any woman who's been in that situation where a man you're feeling for is unkind, it hurts. So was she pained from there? Yes, she was. But I think it really hurt her because she really liked him. There are tons of women out there who have kind of fallen or been, I won't say even been in love, but been in like with a guy who's not necessarily good for them. So when that came out and she started worrying and then she brought up the Natasha thing, I think at this point, of course, she's trying to save face. So what should she do? She's scrambling. She brings up the concept of, maybe going to a counselor, which sounds kind of weird because you guys just started. If you're going to a counselor now, what you're going to do in 3 years when you have kids? Get 3 counselors? So everyone's kind of looking at her like, what you talking about? But I still feel like she's still trying to save face and ignore the red flags. Now, they both have red flags to go around twice, but still, people, and I don't want to call them toxic or this, I just want to call them humans who are imperfect and haven't done the work that they need to do. She hasn't done the work, Tony hasn't done the work. So for me, it got to a point where when she got to the point where she said, I choose myself, I wasn't sad, I wasn't happy, I was relieved, because at that point in time, they would only destroy each other. And I think she saw that. I feel like she chose herself knowing that she wanted to be with him. And to buttress that point, it shows part of the reunion when they said that they were speaking on the phone. She wasn't done with him, but she knew she couldn't keep going that way. She knew something wasn't right. And I feel that also explains why Tony, also, I haven't seen these interviews, people have been chatting with me and telling me what's going on, why Tony isn't blaming her, because he understands. He knows he feels for her, and he knows she feels for him. And he knows everything kind of went down when Lyndon disclosed what he said. Now, I can't respect a human, talk less of a man, who says things he doesn't mean when he's angry. So he knows he has a temper and he knows he's wrong. Not to say that Morgan is right, but that's how I see it. Now, in terms of her brother stuff, hey, we all got brothers. I don't necessarily think the brother's not, he doesn't look like he's a 20-year-old cat. So he's not trying to tussle, but he's letting Tony know. I think it was a respectful meeting. He's letting Tony know that this is my sister and this is how it goes. I think any man, any brother will have that conversation. You're not thinking you're going to rack, but you're letting the guy know that he's accountable to someone. That she's not just someone you're just going to mistreat and nobody's going to call him up on it. So I think that's what the brother was trying to let him know. That's how I saw that kind of exchange. I don't think the brother is the kind of person who's going to say, yeah, let's take it to the streets. Her brother looks a little mature. Most men at that age aren't trying to rack, but they still will they will protect theirs any way they can. So I took it like that. I took it like he was just trying to go for his sister and say, hey, that's not how you're going to treat my sister. So for me, it's like, yeah, Morgan is not the perfect woman, but she's a woman. all of us are flawed, and I feel like that story is everyone's story. Well, I can't speak for everyone, but that's a lot of people's story, where you've been with a guy who you knew you shouldn't be with, you saw the red flags, but you just kind of let them sit there because you really liked him, and he held the promise of what he could be. Possibly this could be the one for me, because truthfully she was looking for a life partner. Now I can't say it's the end, I don't know, but I feel like at this point it's not now for both of them. They both have work to do, but I'm here I'm actually happy to hear that Tony is not blaming her. He's sitting in his manhood and saying, you know what? Let me look at what I did wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. He can't speak for Morgan. I have more respect for him not slagging her off than if he did. So now that makes me think that, you know what? If they're both going to do their work, they possibly could be a couple in the future. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, I appreciate you, Lola. As always, coming with a fire. Now I'm going to push back. No, I appreciate the fact. I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna push back, Lola. I appreciate the fact that, you know what, she's having a situation where, you know what, people are missing red flags. I actually agree with this part. I think we can all agree that she was missing red flags, and we can all have empathy for that part. Where I stop the line at is that that's not her whole story. Her story is not her just missing the red flags. Her whole story is she's threatening. She's dangerous. Okay, the woman has told us, don't let me hurt you. You understand? Her full story is not just I miss red flags. Her full story is also there is toxicity in there that is dangerous. That if she finds the right person, now of course Tony's talking about the fact that he ain't scared about the next situation. He chatting poop. I'll tell you that he's chatting poop right now. Listen, let me tell you this now. He's chatting poop. The reason why he didn't tell his boy is because he knows if he told his boy would have been like, brother, that ain't the girl for you. So you're chatting crud. Number 2, several times whenever Tony talks, he caps a lot. I love Tony, but he caps a lot. And I'll tell you why he caps. He grew up around women. And whenever you find a man that grows around women, sometimes their masculinity, they're almost trying to prove they're men. It's like, you don't have to. So, bro, you don't need to hide the fact that, you know what, that thing set you on the wrong path. Like, rah. Whole girl put near in a man's head. Do you know what his excuse was on the interview? He said, well, she knows who to do that to. Well, she knew who to do that to you when she left you at the altar, bro. When you were standing there with the flowers in your hand and she ain't tell you that she gonna leave you, she knew who to do it to too. So you ain't no exception, Tony. Tony likes to make himself an exception as if his masculinity will change what Morgan is doing. And this is a warning I've always kept on saying. When we say that, because sometimes women say this and men say this as well. Hey, you know what? If I'm a type of guy, she can never do that to me. You're a fool. You think that because you have a certain type of energy, she can never do that to you. No, she will do that to you if she wants to. Morgan's the type. You know what I mean? And then sometimes women will say, well, if we're right masculine energy, I'm going to be feminine. Listen, this guy, you wanted a man to put you in your place? That's Tony. Tony going to put you in your place. And what does she do? She ends up fighting him in the same way. So it don't make no difference. Her whole story needs to be fully told in the sense of you're not just missing red flags. You are the red flag alongside Tony. So you know, yeah, go on. No.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. 2 things. First thing with Tony, I feel that when you, and I don't know, you're a man coach, so you tell me, when you really in like with a girl, there's not a lot that's going to make you change your mind. You'll make excuses for them. So I feel I don't think he felt like, he does. He's got a bit of an ego. So he feels like, yeah, she can't do it to me. But I think more so the fact that this dude was feeling her. Like I heard, I don't know if it's true that he said he's in love with her. I feel when you're in love with someone, you make excuses for them. That you know, and what's it, 1 Corinthians 13, love is kind, love doesn't hold a grudge. If you're in love with someone, you're ready to forgive them. 1, 2, with Morgan, yeah, her story is long and drawn out. Now, like I said, she ain't the perfect person, but I think as humans, we are a product of our experiences. Morgan has been hurt. So all that bravado we've seen beginning of the season was someone who's put up a shield and knows what to do. But we began to see that break down the last few episodes when we really got to see that this girl, 1, she likes Tony, and then 2, I thought she was just playing Lyndon as the backup and didn't care how Lyndon felt. But this girl, she started tearing up and crying because she started feeling bad because she worried that she was hurting Lyndon in the process. And there's something else she said, just to remember this, is that she confessed in the ladies' lounge that she had spent so much time focused on Tony because that was her number 1 crush, that she hadn't spent the time getting to know if Lyndon possibly could be a match for her. And she regretted that. And that's how I see her as an imperfect person. We are her sometimes. We've done something stupid now. We don't do it too much. Like some of the things she's done, the stuff she did with Blake was just for TV magic. She's like, I'm on a reality show. Let me get a moment. I think we all can be showboats sometimes. We all can do that. I can put my hand up. I'm guilty. I can be a showboat, but I'm probably not doing it to that extent. So that some of the things she's done is just for TV magic. But in terms of other things, it's just us going through this world as humans. So yes, she's been hurt and she's got the shield up. So she's really tough. So she's setting her boundaries. She's trying to tell Tony in the beginning, no, don't do this, because she's been hurt in the past. Now, the Nair incident, I was disappointed, but who am I to be disappointed? I'm not God. I haven't done the Nair thing, but I've probably done some other stupid thing. But the Nair thing is, I can't explain or excuse that. But that just makes her human. So I can't really say that, Tony excused that, but maybe they sat down and had a conversation about it privately and he was satisfied with her explanation. I don't know. But I just like to say that when you're in love with someone or in deep like, you are willing to forgive almost anything short of death. So that's how I think. I don't think he thinks he's Superman. He just didn't want to give up on his girl, which is why he had the audacity to be really shocked when she said no. And I can understand why I feel like it took a lot in her to say no. Like, I don't want you this time. Because the possibility that Tony could say, no, I don't want you. There's a possibility he could be going on these interviews and saying, she's the this, she's the that. But apparently he didn't, because he still feels for her. That's how I see it.
Now, Lola, we love you. And we know you're going to bring down a good hammer. But
every day,
why you got the cape on for Morgan? Why you got the cape on for Morgan? I don't understand why you minimizing.
No, I'm not minimizing. I'm saying that I can look at her as a human. But look, this is me though. Like, I always back for like the people you consider crazy. Like, I'm saying, look at the other side. I've got a track record for doing this, so this is not new. I'm not saying what she did is right, but I'm saying, she a little crazy, but she's human. That's all I'm saying. I don't want us to make her this huge villain. She's a flawed human being who's done some stupid shit. But haven't we all done that? That's what I'm saying. I didn't say she's perfect. I just said she's a woman who possibly isn't deep like, who has done some stupid shit. Okay, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
No,
she's not a villain.
I respect that.
She's not Satan.
No, I don't think so at all. And that's why I prefaced it too, because Kojo, I had talked about the fact that I don't think she's a bad person, but I definitely think she has somebody that's exhibited some bad behavior, and that bad behavior hasn't gone checked. And she's so far gone that she just overly focuses on the other person and she centers around them, but she never looks at herself to see what the opportunities are for her to make better decisions. Like, it's not like she did the Nair thing and she was like, that was in my past. I realized it was the wrong thing to do, and I will never do that again. It's like, ha, 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 he, we're going to laugh it off. And guess what? F around and find out, you might find some Nair in your hair as well. So I think that's kind of what I'm concerned about. And even in the interaction with the brother, although I think he was doing what brothers do, that is a situation that with the wrong person, it can go left. Because if Tony was as aggressive and she used the aggressive word, and we often get checked for that as men, to be careful when we call Black women aggressive, but we also need to do the same when it comes to calling men aggressive, because when you hear a man is aggressive, the brother came at him strongly, was like, I want to make sure, you check this, that I don't hear nothing about this aggressiveness. And where did we see Tony being aggressive with Morgan? And that's dangerous. And even Tony said, I'm sitting back and thinking, and again, Tony was smart and mature because he de-escalated and said, I got you. You don't ever have to worry about anything like that happening again. Now, his example, talking about we two alphas, we were two alphas. What two alphas? What two alphas were going after anything? That to me, I didn't get. I mean, maybe Tony is an alpha. Okay, I'm not going to dispute that. But I definitely don't see Lyndon as an alpha, I don't get into the alpha, beta, zeta, sigma of it all. Too tough. But I don't see that as Lyndon's character at all. Maybe I don't know. I'm not even gonna. Let me just digress from that point. But I just think that scenario put him in a dangerous position, because if he truly was that volatile, and at the end of the day, he reacted from the way the brother was reacting, then that's going to be a problem. So I just feel like at the end of the day, we have to be careful, and we have to call out Morgan for setting that up, because there's no doubt about it. Even Tony himself said it. She set him up, and she was telling him things about him and probably not giving the full story. And when you do that, you put people in harm's way, because you don't know what the outcome is. Thank God it didn't go anywhere that it didn't need to go, but that's not always the case. And if I don't have self-awareness, then I'm going to continue to go out there making bad decisions like that and hurting other people. And that's the stuff that I think she needs to be conscious of. And neither one of them was in love with nobody. They was in lust, and nobody was in love. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. They're too mature. This is not 21-year-olds with puppy love. These are grown folks with tons of experience. Nobody was in love. That is absolutely bonkers. And if they said they were, then Godspeed to them both, because all that showed was anger. All I saw was the intensity, and all that comes from when your hormones are fired up. When your endorphins are fired up, Lola, you can probably speak to it better, being a medical professional. When those dopamines are going off and firing, our decision making is not the best in those very early stages, because we're just very fired up and we're having fun. So I'm going to leave it there.
So let me tell you one thing so we can go to everybody else. One thing I would say about life is life humbles you. So what's to say that this relationship right now is not the event that's going to humble Morgan? That's how I see it. That's how I see it. Do I know if they were in love? I don't know if they were in love, but they were in deep like. There's no doubt about that. They both really felt for each other. So life really handles you. Life lifes you. That's why when you get to a certain age, there's a certain amount of humility you will have, because you've been through and you've seen life. So this could be the event that could humble Morgan, make her really see a little bit clearer. I don't know, I'm just speaking, but that's what life does. When you go through life and you learn lessons, and to learn those lessons, you need to feel pain. Did she feel pain with this thing? I'd like to argue and say she has felt some pain over this thing, and that's what life does. They'll throw fat things at you, and you feel that pain, and you're meant to get a lesson from that. So I can only hope she gets a lesson from this. That's how I see it. I don't think she's perfect, but I think life is lifing right now, and she might get the lesson that she needs out of it. That's all.
Lola, I think you actually agree with us more than you disagree. At least with me. I know I've gotten a hard time by trying to show the humanity in Morgan. And I didn't even go nearly as far as you just did, Lola. So thank you. Maybe the comments would be towards you this time and not me.
Come for me any day, anytime.
Lola can handle it. Y'all can say she has the cape on for Morgan today. But what I'll say is I think you're right about everything. But if we can't talk about what may humble her in this experience, then she's not going to grow. And for me, I've always been an advocate of not just straight calling people toxic, not calling people crazy and mean, and not like just shooting venom, because a lot of people who are shooting venom towards Morgan oftentimes are seeing something in Morgan that they don't like in themselves. People don't want to hear that, but oftentimes the people that you have the most venom for, either you act like or you've experienced them in your lifetime, and you have to figure out why you have such a strong reaction to them. And that's on you to figure out. But what I will say is that I do believe there's a lot of humanity in Morgan. I do think that she has experienced pain. I do think that she was either in love with Tony or in love with the idea of Tony. I think it was what Tony represented more than what it was actually Tony. And for women of a particular age who have this dream, that could be just as strong as actually being in love with the person when you're in love with this idea. But I still stand on what I said. If Morgan doesn't figure out why she needs so much attention, why she's drawn to this form of masculinity that really is pretty unhealthy, because honestly, the masculinity that Tony was showing really wasn't that masculine. all he did was show insecurity. He was easily moved, easily wavered, and that's why he was unkind. That unkindness that she didn't like actually came from weakness, not from masculinity. But if she's still laughing about the Nair situation, that's where I have a problem. It's not that you put Nair in somebody's head in high school. That's bad, right? We all can agree with that. But it's the fact that when it's time to sit back and reflect at 38 and 39, and if you still think that's a joke, that's where the problem lies. If you can't figure out where you're kind of effing up at, if you can't own your part in Tony and Lyndon's disrespect of you, you're going to repeat, and repeat. And that's all I say. I think Morgan has a lot of great traits. But to be humble, you have to have humility, and you got to be able to look at yourself. And my concern is that even up into the final episode, even with her final goodbye to Tony, I didn't hear any accountability anywhere. And that's only going to hurt her. It's not going to hurt any of us. You know, if we want the best for her, she's going to have to figure that out. And I haven't seen it. So.
Yeah, I think this big exit, was her new Nair moment. This is something publicly shown on TV that's going to embarrass and humiliate Tony at this time. That was what she did. So this learned behavior and this humility, she hasn't found it yet. And as we saw in the previews for the next episode, she calling somebody a monster and all these other things. So the process didn't really humble her at all from what we see. Maybe when she gives an interview afterwards, then she might be totally different, or blame it on editing or whatever. But listen, if she was speaking of Tony being aggressive and when he gets mad, he's mean and all this other stuff, what have we seen her do? When she gets pressed, when she gets angry, when she gets in her feelings, she gets mean too and starts labeling people malignant cancers, starts labeling people aggressive, starts attacking your masculinity. 1 minute, he's a man's man. The next minute, he's doing behaviors that are unbefitting of a man, I think she said. All right. So she takes shots when she gets mad. The thing is, if they were to continue to have a relationship, because I still think she did the right thing. If they were continue to have a relationship, it would be constant that all the time, because that's just who she is. That's who she presented herself to be in that particular relationship with Tony. So Tony's not the right guy for her, no matter how much in lust she was, because that shouldn't be coming out her mouth to someone that she loves and wants to be with. Never, because that doesn't bring you close together, right? And then on Tony's side, there's no way I believe he loved her. Why? Because, like I said earlier, he had at least 2 connections other than her on the show that he was dividing his attention to. And he had a whole relationship outside of the show going on with somebody else. So he wasn't focused on her one-on-one enough to, in my opinion, find love with her yet. But I do get that however much he did feel for her, that rejection must have hurt. He said in his interview that his mum and his female relatives were giving him hell after watching his performance on the show. All right. He says he's also doing counseling and stuff now as well. So, we didn't see this super aggressive Tony, but what we did see was somebody that basically, when pressed, fires back. And I think Morgan has a habit of, on this show only, because that's all I can go by, has a habit of losing her temper and then somehow getting so much grace for doing it that it allows the behavior to continue. And if she doesn't realize that she's doing it, if she doesn't have that self-reflection, that self-analysis to be able to realize what she's doing, then it's not going to change. It can't, because it's solely down to her to watch what she says and how she presents herself. Did she present herself as someone that was calm, mild-mannered, solely looking for love on the show and not interested in ruffling feathers? No, she didn't. So let's just call it what it is. It's not love. It may have been lust. I think there may have been some jealousy involved. There may have been, a lot of things that may have sparked her passion, but I don't think it's love. I think there's a difference. What she did was probably, in her mind, try and get to a place where she found a relationship on the show, which is what you're there to do. But when you're with someone who you're constantly prodding, provoking, talking down to, he's firing back on you, being aggressive to you. You had another option there in Lyndon, who's opposite. He's nothing like Tony, right? So as as much as you like Tony, you could have made a smarter decision and chosen Lyndon if that was going to bring you a better relationship, more happiness, but you didn't. So she should really rue that mistake, because she had options. She could have dated other people on the show, even Blake. She didn't even go on a date with Blake based on the hearsay that was going around the group. So she didn't even get to know him personally. She cut herself off to date Tony, and it wasn't going to end well. So the best thing that could have happened is somebody saying no on decision day. It was her, and I'm not knocking her for it. I think it was the right decision, but I'm not going to pretend that I didn't see a lot of behaviors that wouldn't make her compatible with me at all. Like I wouldn't enjoy dating someone who's going to be that temperamental, that hostile. That wouldn't be fun. Where's the fun in that?
You know what? It's interesting, because I think with Morgan, we can give her grace as a human being, but she's a villain, straight up. Sorry, she's entered the chambers of villains of previous seasons, because the level of behavior is concerning. Now, I think her pretty privilege and her faith has allowed her to assail through certain situations and get away with the actual repercussions, i.e. Neargate is a huge thing. But the fact that the ex-boyfriend can come back and sit down and sit on the show right next to her like everything was cool tells me she's dealt with people that are willing to give her grace. Because sometimes when you see these situations, you don't see the gravity of it, because maybe after he was pissed but kind of let it go. So it's like it wasn't that deep. The fact that she was unremorseful about it tells me we're dealing with somebody who's dangerous. I'm sorry, I'm gonna call it what it is. She's the danger, right? Because if this was a man doing this, we'd be like, where is the police? Because how can you be putting things in someone's hair for the whole hair to fall off? This ain't cute. It ain't funny. It's not even a little thing that we can go, you know what? Let's let her have a pass. We're talking about Jacqueline from Love is Blind. Forget her. She ain't even in the same league. Morgan is a terrorist in relationship terms. You know what I mean? Because if you can do that and then feel no remorse after, and this was only 3 years ago. I just need you to deep it. This woman is now, what, 38, 39? You're 36 when you did this. 36. You are a grown-ass individual and human being. A grown woman. At 36, putting near in another man's hair so his hair can fall out. Right? At this point, you're a Nollywood film. At this point, Lola, you know what I'm talking about. You are a Nollywood film, and you could be dabbing a little bit of something in somebody's food, and before you know it, it's the end of the movie. The mouth is foaming, right? Because if you can do that, what can't you do? Now, my thing with her is there's a vindictive streak that keeps happening, and it even came out on the show. It came out on the show, right? It came out on the show. Now I'm being very hard about how I attack the situation with her, because I feel like if this was a man, and rightly so, I would be on his neck, calling him out completely. I had an issue with what's his name? Was it Tony as well from a few seasons ago, where he wanted to take women on flights and he was getting all up in a woman's face, and I called it out, and I even called out Ron, Troy, and I called out Ron for allowing Troy to keep on doing what he was doing. I'm sorry. I got to hold up to the highest level because I held up other men in previous seasons when they've done madness like that. I hold them up. So for her to feel like it's not, it's funny and it's like it happened because it happened, for me personally, that is scary. Like, Lola, I can't even be your friend because what if I offend you? What if I offend you? Will you do the same thing to me? Not only did she do this to a man, you actually threw another woman underneath the bus. Yeah, you put an apology after. We get it. I hear you. But for you to win, you threw another woman underneath the bus who, by the way, he wasn't cheating on you with. You weren't together. You weren't in a relationship, but you still wanted to get her back as well. So listen, as much as she was trying to say, oh, I was trying to get Tony. No. You were hurt by the situation. You were trying to get rid of two birds with one stone. And for me, this is scary behavior. It's scary because it can get physical real quick. You threaten violence at one point. Don't let me hurt you. So she hasn't changed. This is not this scenario might humble her. Maybe it does. But if we don't say anything, I feel like I'm being complicit in her madness too. And like, I'm just going, well, she's pretty, so she can get away with it. No. Now, she's fine. But that don't mean you can't go to jail. She a Christian, but that don't mean you can't go to jail. Okay? You know what I mean? Like, we have to be real about this. Even calling Tony aggressive, personally, I didn't personally see the aggressiveness. If I'm honest with you, if I want to call it anything, I never saw Tony's aggressiveness. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Someone can correct me and put me some videos that I missed. But I didn't see Tony's aggressiveness towards her. Now, was he dismissive? Oh, absolutely. Was he possessive? Yeah, you can say that. Was he jealous? Yeah, you know. Was he doing too much? Yeah. Aggressive? Didn't really see that. So the fact that she even put the fact that he's aggressive just kind of showed me again, she knows exactly what she's doing. She wants to make it as if that he's the problem when you ask for a man to put you in your place. I don't know what you want. At that point, you are trying to evade all accountability. So she's different from this is giving Zadia all over again. It's giving Zadia all over again. It's like you are doing stuff and you're unaccountable for your behavior. You are a different category to most people that we've seen on the show. Some people have bad issues, and we say they're bad, and we can, they don't do things right. But this unaccountable bad behavior, her and Zadia, same bracket. It's like, yo, this ain't it. This really ain't it. So that's for me personally. So I hate what you're saying, Lola, but jump back in for us. I know you want to say something. Go for it.
I just want to say that I'm not saying I support everything she's done. I'm saying that, you know what, that I don't, yes, she's done wrong. Yes, she's been a little shysty, but hey, I don't know. I'm not taking it as it's light because I have said there's certain things where I draw the line. I never agree with a woman bring down another woman because of a man. So the Natasha thing didn't make sense to me. One. Two, the Nair thing didn't make sense because yes, she did it, but yes, she wasn't repentant about it. But I think notwithstanding, I'm still able to see the other side and kind of draw my conclusions. So I don't feel like, so for me, I definitely, if I was Tony, I would have concerns that, oh, if I'm with this woman, if I do something wrong, what could she possibly do to me? That would be a question for me, truth. But the thing is, I'm only seeing what's been presented. I don't know what kind of discussion they've had where he's very comfortable possibly having a relationship with this woman. That's what I'm saying. So it's like they're both flawed people. So they at one time or another, they're going to be perfect for each other. Right now, I don't think this is the time, but maybe later on down the line, they could be, because I feel like they share a connection. Like sometimes that connection is just mere chemistry. It's just the heat in your loins and that's it. Or it's something else. I don't know. Human beings were different, but I'm just not. Come on, Kojo, you know me. I do this every season. There's going to be someone everybody hates, and I'm going to bring them up. But just because I'm seeing that human side of them, I'm not saying I could do that. I'm not someone who's going to put Nair in your scalp. I'm not like that. Yeah, like Kojo's talking about Nollywood. I'm not going to pull those Nollywood tricks. But at the same time, there's something human about Morgan that I can see, particularly when she talked about, and I know she may have given her brother that impression, but the truth is sometimes when you get carried away telling a story one-sided, maybe that, I don't know why she said he was aggressive, because he's a little in your face, but I won't call him, I haven't seen him get aggressive with her. Now they might kind of go back and forth. I haven't seen that, but the truth is, you know what, this is TV. At the end of the day, they're perfect for each other. If they can work it out, I think they're perfect for each other, because they both have something's wrong with both of them. That's the honest truth. Like what's his name? What's his homeboy's name? Tony he really likes that sassy side of Morgan. The things we're talking about, the little tick tick boom boom, he actually likes that. So he might as well, feast on it. Is there some work they could possibly do to be a healthy couple? Of course, they got plenty of work to do. But some of the things that you guys don't like about her, Tony likes. So for every mad person, for every person we think is odd, there's somebody out there that actually likes that. And I think Tony likes some of the things we don't like about her. Tony loves them. So if they could fix some of the madness between them, there possibly could be a pretty cool couple. That's all. That's all Lola's saying. She's just saying, don't make her such a villain. She's probably could be a Nollywood villain, but that's all TV. But in real life, who is she in real life? That's the thing, because it's true. I'm not going to tell her to blame it on editing. I'd love to see how she explains some of these things, but it is what it is. Some of the weirdest people have some of the greatest partners. So yeah, I know she's got faults, but I don't think she's a villain. I think she's human. That's all. The end.
Lola, I think you're
Yes,
playing
darling.
contrarian with us tonight. You must be playing contrarian with us tonight. Because what have we seen her do that's kind?
What have we seen her do that's kind? Is that what you said?
Yes.
No, but that's the thing. That's in their relationship. I don't know what's happened in their relationship. They've always had this playful back and forth. But when she talked about kindness, she wasn't talking about how Tony is with other people. She said between them. Now, of course, when you're in a relationship or whatever it is between the two of them, she says that when he gets mad, he's unkind. I'm not saying, now I'm not going to flip it back and say, oh, when were you kind? I'd like to address one issue at a time. Her concern, she used the word unkind. That doesn't, I'm not to say that she can't be unkind, but between the two of them, when they're one-on-one, because we didn't see what she spoke of, the unkindness she spoke of, we didn't witness that, but she did. So the kindness that they share, they've witnessed it. I don't know the extent of the relationship, but for her to say that and feel that, she can feel valid to feel that when he gets upset, when he gets angry, he's unkind. Because as a woman, when you're in a relationship with a man, there are going to be disagreements. There are going to be misunderstandings. As humans, that's what we do. We disappoint each other. But if that person you're batting for, every time you guys have a disagreement, there's an unkindness there, there's not a willingness to listen, then of course that can hurt. I'm not saying that, oh, she's perfect or she's kind. I'm not. But
Did we lose you?
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she's perfect. I'm just saying what she's talking about between the two of them. It could hurt. That's all. Hit me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, and none of us are disputing the fact that she's a human, right, and deserves an element of grace. I just think the major issue is we have not, the things that she's called, and I think what makes it even more difficult for me is the things that she is calling out in other people, she is unwilling to hold herself accountable to the same standard. She has maligned people's character. She has done some heinous physical acts. She has put people in harm's way. Yet she holds people to the standard that she is not willing to, maintain for her own self. And that, for me, shows me somebody that has no self-awareness and that will continue to do that. Even I will say, even if she said the therapy thing, right? Because we spent a lot of time debating that the last time we were together. But the therapy wasn't even for her. The therapy was for Tony.
I thought it was for both of them as a couple. Couples therapy was, I thought, what she was suggesting, that they would learn how to communicate better.
If you hear her words, the therapy was, we should go to therapy so that he can fix his anger issues, so that he can do better, so that he can realize the mistakes that he's made. So again, she's thinking, and a lot of times, many a wife has made this mistake. Sent her husband to therapy or sent them to couples therapy only to miss the fact that she's a part of the problem, and I think that's where, for me, because that her behavior has gone unchecked by her own self. Maybe other people have called her out, but she's just met it with fighting and rebuffs. So she is not willing to accept the fact that she has work to do and that she owns an actual role in a lot of the things that she has done. And until she does that, that's when she'll be better, right? We don't wish them on Tony or Morgan on each other until they both done some self-work and have a realization of themselves. Because without that, they're just going to be on the toxic spin cycle.
I agree with that last part. They both need to do work, definitely.
Yeah, and I think the self-awareness part is one thing, but then it's doing the behaviors to change those behaviors once they've been identified. That's when things will start to get better for her relationship-wise, probably, because all right, let's put it this way. If Tony had briefed his sister in the same way that Morgan briefed her brother, would her sister have been as receptive when Morgan came to meet her at the table? No, she wouldn't. She would have her back up. She would be like, nah, I've heard some crazy stuff about you. I heard you're aggressive. I heard you put nail in someone's hair. Like, none of that came up with Tony's sister at their date because he didn't brief her about that. He only told her about their connection and, yeah, this is the girl I want you to meet. That's what we saw. But when it was Morgan's turn, typical, what she did was, yeah, this guy's aggressive. He's a hothead. He's a man's man. He's a da-da-da. Everything to kind of get her brother into a mindset of, okay, I need to be careful of this guy because this guy might do something to my sister. So it already put him at a disadvantage. So Morgan is not self-aware yet from what we see on the show, in my opinion. All right. And she shows no signs of that. None. Zero. You can give her a grace if you want to, but the fact is, from what we see, she hasn't been nice and kind to anybody. You see what I'm saying? Like when Natasha was brought up, that wasn't a kind thing to do. Not even because it involved Natasha, who's nothing to do with the process anymore, but it's the fact that it was shared in confidence with the guy that she's actually in this, in this relationship with. So he shared it in confidence. She decided to air it and ruin that safe space between them because of how she felt. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm not going to pile on anymore. But all I'm saying is the behaviors that she said about Tony are almost identical to the behaviors that she's displayed herself. And he didn't throw her under the bus in the same way. Even when she was playing Lyndon along for the ride or whatever the game plan was there. Like I said, I think she personally should have chosen Lyndon if she wanted a happy relationship. Because the thing is, the healthiness of a relationship determines how far it's going to go, usually. If you're constantly bickering, arguing, and he's a monster and he's aggressive and he's not a man anymore and he's not doing it, how far is that going to take you? It's not going to go very far. And, I don't know her previous relationship experiences. I don't know how many boyfriends or whether she's been in love before. But if you're on this show to genuinely find a connection, yes, you may have had a stronger connection with Tony because of the lust. But surely the better option, look how she teared up for Lyndon when she was sending him home. At that point, she must have realized that would have been the better option for her, but she's going to go with her heart or whatever else she's thinking with. The end of the day, she chose Tony, and that wasn't going to lead to a productive, healthy relationship. It wasn't. So she did the right thing. That's the grace I'll give her. She did the right thing at the end of the day. I don't like necessarily how she did it, but at least she did it because I don't think Tony would have. Tony seems like he likes the ladies. He's had 3 on the show already. How greedy can you get? You see what I'm saying? So, like, he may not have wanted to pull the plug on it, but I'm glad she did.
All right, good. I appreciate it. Let's move on. Good talks. That was a good conversation. Good, well-rounded one. So yeah, appreciate you guys for going deep with that. All right, let's talk then Mercedes and Mark Anthony because the sister the sister was not having it one bit at all. She was not trying to have it at all. She was letting us know her thoughts quite clearly, that she felt, that this relationship weren't really gonna work for Mercedes. So I want to get you guys' thoughts. What's your thoughts on the interaction between Mercedes, her sister, and Mark Anthony? He was far more direct than he was on the entire show. I mean, I saw some different energy from Mark Anthony from him. He's been playing us the whole season because this looked like the real energy he's really carrying. You know what I mean? Go for it, Sean.
Well, I'm just excited that, JR and I, we stood alone for quite some time. And, we were told we were pandering. We're told we had our capes on for Mercedes. And I'm just glad that she held her own. Now, this sister friend that she had, which I think it wound up being her close friend or whatever, sometimes that gets confusing. I know in our community we like to give folks labels, but I believe that was her friend. But the friend just came in way too hot for me. And I think it was kind of like, at the end of the day, you don't need to put the brother under the pressure cooker like that. And I think it's so funny when we have these conversations with our friends, it's like Mercedes already knew what it was because the friend went in right hot and heavy with some of the major issues that I guess Mercedes had all along with them going the long term. And that was around them living in two different places. And Mark, he just seemed to, I guess I was going to get at Morgan's brother for taking down a whole state, It's like, we know how New York guys are. Men are men everywhere. You're going to find aggressive men in every state, every country. There's going to be those of us that are hotheads and not. It's not a regional thing. But anyway, I say that to say, he just got a little New York on us because the friend was pressing him a bit around him being stubborn about what did it look like for him to be living in a different state than her and what his expectations were. And for him to be like, well, if I'm the breadwinner, I'm like, whoa, we've never heard that from you, bro. We never heard that from you, bro. I didn't quite understand where that was coming from. So I thought it was very interesting, and I just wonder what ultimately his plan was like, because it doesn't sound like he really was serious. So what was he going to do if him and Jeffrey worked out? That would be my question, because you got 3 kids in one state and you back and forth. Is Jeffrey going to be traveling? So I just thought that I thought that was a little interesting, to say the least.
Yep. Go for it, Joe.
Yeah, I can understand why Mercedes chose herself. I think the revelation that Mark's cousin made about him moving to New York, that was when she put the brakes on and she was like, oh, this ain't gonna work. Because she's a flight attendant or air hostess or something like that. So she's traveling all the time too. So, it's going to be added logistical problems. So, if that's the reason why she cut, then I can definitely see why that would make sense. It looked like there is some feelings there between them. And if they are able to figure out the travel, I'm sure they would continue to hang out, continue to date loosely. But, they'd have to figure out, why they're moving. And also, I'm not sure if he's moving long term or if it's continuing to go back and forth between both places. But yeah, I was just happy to see a non-toxic relationship develop between both of them, and also a non-toxic way to end their connection on the show. You know, I'm not mad at it. So yeah, good luck to both of them.
Gigi, Siwe, what's your thoughts?
Did I miss it, or did he ever say why he was going to New York, or no?
Yes, the friend told the story about that's where his family is, because he's actually from New York.
So why is he in Miami?
Pilot school? I don't know.
Long distance relationships, it's not for me whatsoever. So why did yours?
So I was trying to find a clip for you guys. Apologies, go on, Siwe.
Yeah, you know, that was what I kept on thinking about. I was like, why is he in Florida to begin with if he's going back to New York? I was like, what is in Florida? Yeah, you're saying his main job is in New York, but why is he in Florida? That was weird to me. Because if you're coming down to Florida to be on a show, to me, that's even more reason why I'm gonna end it if I'm Mercedes. But I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised that she picked herself, because I do think with her being a flight attendant and him being when in Rome said he got recruited. That's what it sounds like. That's what I'm getting at. But yeah, I'm glad she picked herself. That's all I really have to say about it. It probably wasn't going to work. She probably came on this show with true intentions to find someone at the level of commitment that she wanted. And him being in New York, I mean, it just again goes to his seriousness, which is not really there. So I agree with JR. I'm glad that she was able to pick herself in a polite way. I think this definitely demonstrated how you can, you know, do you and stand on your morals and what you want out of life without being rude. And she definitely, you know, very convincingly, firmly, but maturely and politely let him know what she was looking for, and that's not that. And I love to see women on TV not compromising what they want out of life, especially when what they want is reasonable, and they should be able to have that. So I'm glad that in the end she looked past the pretty face and got down to reality. Because if you live in delusion, you're gonna set yourself up for the okie doke. And I love that she did not allow the external factors to sway her ultimate decision. Definitely was a pleasant surprise, but I was glad to see it. And I think we're adding that he's in flight school, y'all. I think he wants to be a pilot. I don't think he's in flight school.
He is. He did say that.
He was in flight school in Miami. That's why he was there.
No. I mean, that was a joke when I said that's why he's in Miami. But he's definitely, work has him in both places, because he said he has a place in both states. He did say that himself.
I would love to know why. What is his business in Miami? I'm just curious. Because if he really was going to be in Miami, I think it would have been a different consideration. Like if he's really kind of, it's not bi-coastal, it's the same coast, but you know what I mean?
Like a snowbird. It's kind of snowbirdish, but he's not the age for snowbirds, but it's pretty much like a snowbird.
Right.
But Blake's the same. Blake's the same. Blake's from New York. He's got I think he flies between both places. He's got homes in both places. Tony's obviously from New York as well. So there may
Tony
be some.
and Blake are men of a particular age. I can see them having something in both places. You know what I mean? What Mr. Anthony doing? I don't see that for him. I really don't.
Not you ready to take him down the path of dustiness. He's over 30. He can have multiple properties.
I didn't say that. I retired my dustpan. didn't say that. I just don't see that for him. That's not what I see right now. And I think that's not what Mercedes saw. That's why she kept it moving. Because she liked that man. She was hot in the pants for that man. She wanted that man. So whatever his situation was, right, exactly, CJ. He's probably got his grandma house. His auntie house is in Miami. His real house is in New York. He doesn't have. Come on now, let's be real.
Listen, don't. I told y'all about my good friend Mercedes. She's more. It's more than meets the eye. She just has a lighthearted energy, you know. And y'all wanted to just, you know, put her in a category. She just was here for a good time, not a long time. She just had to let y'all know, hey, listen, I know what I'm doing around here.
That was the energy she was given, but I'm glad that she turned it around for us. I'm always here for a happy ending. Not like that. Pause.
That was a good one. I didn't even catch it. If you didn't say it, and I'm usually on it. If you didn't say it, it would have flew right over my head. Good one.
Oh, gracious. Go for it, Lola.
So my opinion of those two is like literally, Mercedes, lovely girl, but it really feels like she was just here just to have a good time. Because when she sat with her friend, whoever the lady was, I can't remember her name. All I recollect her saying was, "Yeah, he pretty." Like I don't hear anything else about him. So it would behoove her. It was important that she say no because I don't see what else they had in common. Yeah, it couldn't have played any other way. Like she would have done a disservice to herself to continue the relationship because her reasoning for saying that they weren't going to continue was that he possibly was going to be commuting or going to New York or somewhere, whatever he was meant to be doing. But if you have a connection, you have a relationship with someone as an adult, long distance shouldn't be a reason why you completely terminate it. So I don't think they had anything to begin with. At this point, I feel the show is doing themselves a disservice by just people wanting to stay on the show to get to the end. Because, yeah, they shared a couple kisses, and yeah, he's cute in the face, but the truth is, at a certain point, you need to ask yourself, what else is there? And I feel that's probably what Mercedes was asking herself. Yeah, he's pretty in the face, but what else is there? Like I don't know what else he has going. I don't know, but I think that's what she really thought about it practically, and she's like, yeah, we don't have anything. I don't think they had anything going. Like enough for the coup plotter Jeffrey to dump him before he dumped her. Like I don't know. There's something they all know about Mark Antony that the pretty face wasn't enough to cover. That's how I feel. I feel like she would just, she just know. It was good while it lasted. He was suitable for the show. Like that's it. Like that's it. I don't want to say anything mean about him because he's a lovely young man, but I don't know what else
it's
he
the funds, Lola. It's the funds.
I don't want to go there because he's a young man. Because I don't expect you to be, he'll probably get there.
He's moving at his age. I'm not saying he's behind, but right. I mean, at his age, right?
Yeah. And that's important.
Compared to the Blakes and the Tonys who have big earning years, right? Between 31 and 40, those are big jumping earning years. So, there's no shade.
Yeah,
but if you don't have the funds and you don't have the depth, like you're not serious. And I argue with Sean all the time. He talked about my friend Mercedes. I said Mercedes wanted more than what Mark Antony was giving. And that's kind of what it showed here. I mean, she did say to the end, no, because I was saying Mark Antony is playing and she wants more than that. Now, where I was wrong is I thought she was going to be fooled. And I'm glad that she wasn't fooled. But she definitely wanted more than what he was giving. He wasn't giving much.
Yeah, because that's about it. Like Pretty in the Face can take you for an evening or two, and that's it. Like what else you gonna do after that? Like share a sandwich or a burger. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm happy for her that she chose. Like she's got other things she needs to do. She needs to figure out what she wants to do with herself, her life, and who she wants to be. Yeah, wherever Mark Antony is. So that was a good idea. That's all I have to say. Like that was a good idea because they're both there just to hang out, just to get there till the end. That's how I feel.
Now he came on the camera to make her face and left.
what? Oh, is Mercedes his lady friend or something? Like, what's up with that?
He loves some Mercedes. Yeah.
Well, good luck. Like, why don't you holler at her? She probably sees you here. Like, hey, what's up, Sean? How you doing? Oh, my bad. Mercedes, you hear that?
He says, moving in silence. JR, go for it. Sorry, you want to defend your girl? Go for it.
No, I was gonna say that there were other options that she could have chosen if she wanted more. Right? There's Andre, no kids, has a successful business by what or stretch of the imagination. Exactly, thumbs down for him. There was Anthony, who's an established, right? Double thumbs down for him, even though he's established and all the rest of it in the same area where she lives. So my point is, even though those options were available, she turned them down kindly and focused on Mark Anthony. So I think if the cousin didn't air the fact that he was moving, I think she probably would have said yes. Because all the other things that she would have been looking for that Lola and Seaway have both mentioned, other guys had those things. But she didn't want them. And I think they still continue to date after the show. I think their connection is that strong from what I see that there would be, there wasn't anything why they should completely walk away from each other other than the logistics. So like I said, if they figure that out, then I'm quite sure they'd continue to find something. Similar to what Lola said about Tony and Morgan. Maybe after the show, these two get it together and actually make it work. That would be a much better couple to do that with.
That's exactly what I was saying. I was saying that these two, it doesn't matter whether she said no or not on the day. Okay, after is what matters the most. So maybe we'll see. We'll see on a reunion if they've been still talking or not, etc., etc. We'll find out. I personally think both her and Mark Anthony are unserious. Sorry, that's my personal opinion. I think both of them are unserious, right? So as much as I thought Mark Anthony was playing out here, and the fact that he even came out of his true energy at the end, I was like, so you have this kind of energy, but you've been playing up like you're a small boy. When you know for sure you're kind of person that is very stubborn, you want your own way. No wonder why he didn't want to date Janique, because that would have been a clash. But I thought they're both on serious. And I said this from weeks ago when I said, when he makes a comment about the fact that you look like his future ex and you just go into his arms, I'm telling you, like, you're not serious. None of you are serious. None of y'all are serious about what you're doing. So you were here for fun. So for me, even her choosing herself, she only chose herself because, again, the premise is almost like saying, I don't know how to put it. It's similar to the Marshall and Jacqueline situation when he told her, you don't deserve a ring, so give back the ring. She's not answering the question based upon you should have the ring back. She's answering the question based upon the question you asked, which is, you don't think I deserve it, so I'm gonna keep it. I think I deserve it, rather than saying I'm giving it back because it's not right for me to keep it. So the premise of the question is, are you ready to love? Are you two ready to love? They might not be. So her saying no is actually more about the show, and her saying no rather than actually being no to the actual relationship. She gonna date that man. She gonna date him because she knew all of this beforehand. Now, of course, she knew a little bit later on about him not staying in the same place, etc., etc. But she gonna continue dating him. She gonna date it because I don't remember much about their connection and what was actually keeping her in that place. What was he offering? I can't remember. What did she say was so good about him? I can't remember, apart from that he's light, fun, and got good energy. But what else? I don't know. So they're going to continue after the show, have fun, and do what young people do. Okay? You already know. Okay? So, because she's looking for someone who's got roots in Miami. Now, if you're looking for someone who's got roots in Miami, who's rooted and is situated in this place, would that not be your first kind of conversations that you'd have immediately? So you getting blindsided by him suddenly saying he's going to move. I'm like, did you actually ask that question then? Because otherwise we've got to call it what it is. He's a liar. Because if you did ask that question and his cousin's now coming and saying he actually would move, then you got to call him a liar. Then you really are dealing with someone you don't want to deal with someone like that. Do you know what I mean? So if you're not calling him a liar, I'm going to preface it by saying y'all didn't have this conversation about how serious you were about looking for somebody who had their roots absolutely rooted down in Miami, because she said that in her like section where she talked to herself. So were you really looking for that? You're unserious, and it's okay. He was unserious. It's okay. You know, they're both unserious. Nothing Sean or JR can do to save her. She drowned like the rest of them. Okay, sorry. All right. Appreciate JR and Sean, you know, but she drowned like the both of them. Look at Lola, you're gonna say something, but yeah, Sean, and then Lola can go after. No, go for it, Sean, then Lola will go after.
Let Lola go first. I'm trying to chew my food.
Sean, what time is? You see what time it is?
He's been fasting all day. Don't worry.
Is that what it was?
Lola, go for it. I don't know. I've been fasting, so I don't know.
I was just agreeing with you. They were just here to have a good time, and that's it. I don't know. Like, I will be surprised if they decide to pick it up after the show, because I don't know if they have much to pick up. Like, they were hanging out. That's what it looked like. They were hanging out. I feel a lot of the couples this season were just hanging out. Like, they were just trying to make it to the final end. I didn't see, like, with each season, it just becomes like, oh, who's going to end up? You throw up the dust. Who's going to end up together? Like, even I won't jump. Let me not jump into the other couple since we're going couple by couple. But yeah, I feel they're just hanging out. They were just hanging out. Like, I'll be surprised if they decide to pick it up. It was just something cute to do, something fun to do during the summer. Now it's the summer months are gone. What do we have in common anymore? That's it. That's all. I have no beef against Mercedes or homeboy Mark Anthony. Like, he pretty in the face. There's nothing wrong with being pretty in the face. But that's it. But yeah, that's all I have for them. That's it. Nothing. I have nothing for them. But I'm sorry, this is your girlfriend, so go ahead, Sean. Let us know how you feel.
She's not my girlfriend. But what I will say is that I think, like, listen, this is a shortened process. And I mean, I would never assume that I go on a show that's ready to love Miami, ready to love New York. Let's say hypothetically I went on the show, right? And I would assume that the person's living there lives there. It wouldn't be for me like, oh, that's straight out the gate. Do you live here? I would assume that if you're back and forth, that would come up in conversation. If it's something that, is part of your normal routine. So I wouldn't say that that's on her to ask. I think it's on him to disclose if that's an intention of his, is to be back and forth. But I do think it just speaks to, I think the both of them for sure, and that's what a lot of us picked up on, and some more than others, a very light energy, right? So I think it just took them a while to get to the crux of what was going to make what was important for them in a relationship. And I think that I would hope that if she was not going to explore anything with him and go into a love or go into anything, that she would have said it and then not continue to date him after the process. Because then what's the point? You might have sort of just said, let's go in this together and give it a go. So I'm going to go with, and that's where I will definitely give her the benefit of the doubt and say, like, hey, if she said she's not going to choose him, and that she doesn't feel like they're ready for the same things, they don't want the same things, then why play around and miss your opportunity? So what they did before that, I can't speak to, but I would hope that ultimately that she does not, because then that's just really just contradictory. So
the reason why why she didn't want to say yes, why Morgan didn't want to say yes, you're not going to say yes on national TV for that man to play in your face. That's the reason why she's going to say no. I think there's about a high probability that she still try to talk to Mark Anthony after the show so she can do it in peace. And then if he play in her face, which is a high probability of that, then she can do it. No skin off her back. She good. So I do believe that's why she said no, because even with, as Kenya said in the comments, some of her pick-me behavior for Mark Anthony, she wasn't dumb. She like, look, I'm going to enjoy this for a good time, But if it's gonna be a long time, you're gonna have to play in my face in private. And you know, I'm not mad at that, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But where I would agree with you though, Sean, is that it is not fair. And this goes for Mr. Kwame too over there on Love is Blind. If you're going on a show in a particular city, you need to live in that city. What is with like going on shows in a city and then making it a bone of contention that you live in another city? That to me is not fair. If you're on Ready to Love Miami, why are you living in New York? That's not even close. That's not even a close plane ride. Like, that's just kind of ridiculous, and that's not really on her, you know? I probably wouldn't even thought to say, well, no, like, if you're in Chicago, the first thing we say is, like, what high school you go to, like, so we'll figure it out pretty quick, like, where you from. I don't know what they do in Miami, but, I mean, it really wouldn't dawn on me that you live in whole New York. Like, Ready to Love needs to stop recruiting pretty boys to be on the show for a look, because that defeats the whole purpose, because that's all they did. Because what a man like Mark Anthony need to be on Ready to Love for? I said that from the beginning. He don't need to be on Ready to Love. He's good. He's good. He's fine. He can get girls with or without funds. He's fine. I'm pretty sure. So this was all silly.
Yeah, like I will say that out of the two, Mark Anthony struck me as the guy that wasn't serious. He kept referencing shorties. He kept, entertaining Jeffree. And if it doesn't work with Mercedes because of logistics, then there's no way it was going to work with Jeffree, because she wants someone that's going to be there with her and her children, and the biblical husband thing that she was referring to. So he was never going to be that, and that's why Jeffree cut him loose. But him going to New York, like that's not gonna allow for a relationship to develop with as much time together as Mercedes probably would like. And like I said, she's an air stewardess, she's an air hostess, so she's traveling different destinations for most of the week. So she's hardly ever in town either. So, at the end of the day, he isn't the most serious cat. At his age, is anybody really that serious? I mean, there are some, but this isn't like, a connection like a Clifton and Joy type connection, where you can sense that they really genuinely felt strongly about each other from day one. It's, if they are both on the show to have fun, it's better to come on the show, find a connection and have fun with them, than probably to find no connection at all, or to end up getting the hate for being toxic or whatever. So you can't knock them. They're young, they'll both continue to either date each other or date other people, and they both made a decent representation of themselves on the show. And if they do get together afterwards, then fair play to them. Like, it's better to have fun than to get into conflict all the time and be known for that and be villainized. And neither of them did that. So you get the thumbs up from me.
We hear you, 100. We hear you. Okay, cool. Thank you to JR and Sean for defending their pose. We appreciate you. Okay, came through strong for Mercedes. All right. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's get on to then Andre Jeffree. Let's get into Andre and Jeffree because they had their moment too. I don't know why I can't remember much what happened with them two. Maybe I fell asleep when I watched them, but love to hear your thoughts on Jeffree and Andre. I don't remember. Did she say no? Did she say yes?
She said yes. I thought you were going to save them for last.
No. Well, they're pretty much last because Anthony and
Tim. What is that to save?
She said yes with the storm wig.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
No, it was just a storm wig. That really wasn't.
No, she didn't say yes on the day of the storm wig. Was in the confessional and the reunion.
It wasn't. She didn't have that storm wig on.
No, she actually looked really pretty.
What is she? The storm wig is the confessional and then the reunion.
Yeah.
But that's how you know that they're shot at different times, because that storm wig never made itself visible on the season at all.
That's all I could think about. I'm sorry, it really distracted me.
Yeah. So in the confessional, she had it, but
you on mute, JR.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, like she had her hair in a bun to match his hairstyle, probably.
Yeah, but Kojo, you didn't miss nothing. She was on there with her fake sister, talking about the biblical husband, and then she went to go pick Andre, who is her quote unquote biblical husband. It really wasn't much to say. I don't got nothing.
I watched a little bit behind the scenes, and they were both dressed like they were going to an African funeral. I'm not gonna lie to you, both in black and red. If you know anything about Ghana, when we wear black and red, that's a funeral. So, but that's another story for another day. What was your thoughts then, guys? Some more thoughts on Andre and Jeffrey. She said, "I choose you," like Ash Ketchum did Pokemon. So I want to get your thoughts. What do you think of that connection there? You know, will it last? You know, is there a real connection? What's Andre's obsession with dating women with kids? I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, is there something we need to look at a little bit deeper too? Because he seems to be happy to keep on being in that position. So I'm just wondering, you know, maybe he likes being in that position. Maybe there's something for him in that space. I don't know. What's your thoughts? Give us something, guys. Let us open the mic. Go for Lola.
So, you know what? There isn't much to say about those two, because the truth is his sister said it best. Like, Maji, like, you keep picking, one has 2, one has 3, and you have 0 kids. It's not going to work. And his sister is a strong character in his life. So I don't want to say they did this for TV, but if they lasted only 2 weeks, then they did this. Maybe he did this for TV. To start with, I don't know if he was that serious a character to begin with anyway. He was led by his loins. Because like he didn't think he was going to be a baby daddy to 3 kids. And not to diss Jeffrey or single mothers dating. I just don't think he's a serious character. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was in it for a good time. Like, I don't want to say he was calculating to see if he could get under the sheet, and that's why I was surprised by Jeffrey. Well, I guess Jeffrey was also led by her loins, because he's not a serious character. He's not a serious cat. I don't get the attraction to this gentleman. I'm not saying he's unattractive, but I don't think he's ready to settle down yet. Settle down with kids. If he wanted kids, he would have kids already. So with them, I didn't think it was gonna be that short, but I didn't think it was gonna last very long. Now Jeffrey herself, Jeffrey is a coup plotter, calculating. See how lady had like her church gown on, like she had I've never seen her dress like that before. The dress was down to her shins. Like, that's a coup plotter, calculator, because she has to rely not on her wits but on her looks. So she was looking for a father and a provider for her kids. So maybe Jeffrey has some kind of, what's his name? Homeboy, Andre has some kind of income that she was after. But even then, Jeffrey's a smart woman. I know she knows that it wasn't going to last very long. So I'm still confused as to what she thought she was going to get out of it. I don't think anyone is surprised it didn't last. I don't think any of us are surprised. She's a pretty girl, or she's a beautiful woman. Let me respect her. She's a beautiful woman, and that's what Andre was drawn to. He couldn't even be distracted by the kids. That's it. There is no story. She's talking stuff about my biblical husband, and he's playing along. Like, he wasn't with it, but he was playing along. I didn't buy that he was ready to settle down with that woman for a second. For a second. He was just led by his loins. So it is what it is. Let's see how this goes. But I just want to see what excuse he's going to come up with as to why it took him 2 weeks to be like, I'm not into this anymore after a few months. But there isn't that much to say about them other than I felt he was just trying to hit it and miss. But that's unfair. What'd you say? He
left because of the children.
But they were there before, right? Bruh, like, they were there before. So you really wanted to hit it like that hard? Like, so that's where I'm kind of mad at Andre. Like, you lifted her hopes up. But then, of course, you know what? I shouldn't be surprised. Jeffrey has a habit, and that means she's got work to do, of picking men who really aren't available, because none of her baby daddies are around. So this is a pattern for her. So I take that back. I'm not surprised. That's how she moves. She'll pick a man who's not available. For some reason, she doesn't see anything else but something else. So yeah, but he should know better. I think there should have been, I don't know. Like, this is a hot mess. I just want to see how it lands, because I didn't think it was going to last. That's all I got to say.
Now that's the smoke artist right there. There we go. I didn't recognize you for a second. I thought we lost
Stop.
you.
You got to be true to yourself, right? And this is why I always get on here. I'm like, ladies, if you don't cook, you don't clean. Okay. Don't be out here capping because Sean said he want a woman that can keep a house. See, you see what I'm saying? Don't do that. If that's not you, be yourself. Be yourself. Because I think the issue is that, and I listened to what Andre was saying. Andre, when they asked Andre, why is it Jeffree? They said she's the most feminine. She's the most dainty. She's submissive. She's all these things, right? And, you know, I think Jeffree appeared to be all those things. She's very pretty. She's petite, beautifully dressed. Her wardrobe is especially on point towards the end of the season. Looks phenomenal. She talks in a really dainty voice. Even that behind the scenes footage sent me. I was like crying, like a real tear came down my face when she was telling Andre that she needed him, telling Tony that she needed him. Jeffree really knows what men want to hear. They want to feel needed. They want to feel like you have a role in their life. And I think she really played that up. I don't know what's going wrong with her different relationships in her life, but what I will say is that if you can't keep that up, you're treading as dangerous water. If you're all those things for real, then you don't do you. Pull all the men that you want, let all the haters be mad. But there has to be something that's not making it consistent. And then as it goes to Andre, there is something very wrong with the man that keeps talking about he was a stepfather. First of all, usually to be a stepfather, you need to be married or adopt those kids, right? I don't know what his situation is, but his obsession with being a stepfather, because he mentioned it multiple times, and wanting to enter these homes where he's playing a role in these children's lives. I'm not here to psychoanalyze him either, but there's something wrong with that. And I think they both kind of got with each other for these very odd, superficial, strange reasons that weren't rooted in something real. So it's not just on Jeffree why it fell apart. It was probably a combination of the both of them, because it's a lack of discernment on her, thinking that Andre is any way near a biblical husband. I mean, we laugh about it because it's a joke, you know, and then it's this facade that I believe that she's keeping up, because you can't fake that. The real you is going to come out at some point. So I don't know if it came out in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know, but some came out. So I'm not on the Jeffree hate train. I think she got issues. Like Lola said, we got to humanize these people. She definitely is touched by an angel. She for sure has issues. But her biggest issue, I think, is also who she's picking, because there's something really wrong here. Yeah, so that's all I got with them two.
Yeah, listen, go for it, yeah.
I think the superficial reasons are what brought them together. That's where they had similarity. That's what made them feel compatible. He talked about how he wanted a wife, and he saw how he saw her, and she talked about a biblical husband and how she saw him, and they both talked each other up. And you know, so I definitely didn't see anything particularly biblical, or you know, to make me think that he's biblical at all. But it's how she sees him. That's the most important thing. It did trouble me when he said that he was a stepfather for 5 years and he has dated a few women that have kids. Like, when I mean, yeah, what that shows me is that even though he is open to dating women that have kids and he doesn't, I think he wants a certain level of prominence or dependency that comes with these relationships that he gets in. Because if he does get into a relationship with Jeffree per se, then I think he will want to command the household and get the respect of the kids plus her. And, you know, he'll be seen as somewhat of a savior for jumping into that role. But I don't think he's serious. And when we look at the clip from the reunion, like, he seemed to have an issue with the baby fathers not being present. And that wasn't actually explained to him on the show. If we remember and we cast our mind back, she took Blue and Mark Anthony aside and explained the situation why her baby fathers weren't present. Andre wasn't there. She went on a separate date afterwards to Andre's house where he cooked for her, and that conversation didn't take place there. So I'm not sure how much she divulged, but evidently it looks like something that happened off the show with regards to that caused some type of tension. Do I think they're still together? Yes, they could be, because you know, he drives a Lambo and he is a high earner, being in Forbes and all these other different things to be high profile in his area. And you know, if she's attracted to that type of man, then yeah, it could definitely still be working, even though there's going to be hurdles and bumps in the road. She would have been more malicious and vindictive.
Sean, any words?
I think so much of it was said, but what I did find interesting is when it came out that Andre had dated a young woman that was like 23 years old. I thought that was a little bit of a red flag, right? Because I think there's no rule, I guess, as long as they're adults. But to me, it's still a little odd when, you know, how old is Andre anyway? Maybe he's 33, so maybe it works, because the quote unquote rule is half your age plus, and then you add 7. So maybe at the time that qualified. But I still think 23 and 30 is just that's a bit extreme. And it just speaks to, again, your level. But I think that they were in like a haze, so they didn't get to truly know each other or see each other. And sometimes when you're so obsessed with the facade, you're missing what's behind it. And I'm not sure why we had to go with all these terms, biblical husband and this and that. You know, just if you like the person, you like the person. We don't need to put 10 on 2, especially when you're going through a speed dating round of getting to know people. And I think you get so caught up in a narrative that you forget reality. And I think that happened for the both of them. They didn't give themselves a chance to know each other. They were so caught up in the facade and didn't move past to really get to know each other and vet each other to see if they were right. Now, who was putting on? I don't know. It seemed like they both did a little bit, because they both had extremes. Jeffrey with the voice and the, you know, all of the femininity, and Andre, you know, with his multiple hairs going like every which way but right. And this even Cynthia said, you know, she couldn't get past his showboatiness. Now I'm putting it in my own words, but that's pretty much what she said, right? So both of them had this show pony personality to them. And I think it's very hard for two people that are like that to really have a quality relationship, because it's going to take you a while to suss through the foolishness. And looks like it happened. And it looks like Jeffrey's not too thrilled. So, yeah, that's that.
Hey, listen, I mean, I'm waiting to see maybe a reunion as to why he said what he said, but he said about the 2 baby daddies being sketchy. Negro, you had the whole of this particular show to figure that out. I'm not having no sympathy for Andre, because if you couldn't address it on the show, that's your business. If you're so invested in the show that you couldn't address it, that's your business. You telling me you couldn't have a conversation behind the scenes? Don't play like, you know what, like you're just now kind of figuring it out. She's been this way always. You've seen her this way. Your sister done told you. So you can't play this game like you don't really know Wagwan. So me personally, I didn't have no sympathy from if that's the fullness of the conversation at reunion. But I think with Andre and Jeffrey, I think there are glaring issues. So I think with Andre picking her, I gotta really ask, for the antennas as to where his discernment is. I know she got a pretty voice. I know she's pretty. I know she's fine. She got a cute body. I know all of that. But when you get time to spend with people, you get to see character. You spend time with them over a period of time. We should start to see some characters and the way that they behave. So you kept on calling her feminine and she's soft and she's a wife material and, basically giving her all the placards, and almost in some sense making it very clear that Cynthia is almost a bit different from what you get with Jeffrey. And the reality is, in this instance, if you're now crying about the fact that you felt like you couldn't address certain things, I'm looking at you some way. Like, we've dealt with Jeffrey all season. I've been calling Jeffrey out all season. I don't need to even do it anymore because I think it's quite evident. But the fact of the matter, what remains is you stood there for the whole entire time and you played with it. So there has to be some accountability here. So for me, Andre, I'm now asking real questions as to what did you actually see? Why were you seeing this? One of the things that happened with him and Cynthia was he had to kind of almost fight for himself in a sense of explaining that he's actually a deep person, because that there was a conversation I had on the couch and he had to almost kind of fight that he was a deep person. I was like, well, then are you really deep? If you have to fight for that, do you think you're really deep? Like, you know what I mean? Like, surely she should have seen this over the course of a few weeks dating you. And I was like, bro, maybe just not that deep, and it's okay. You don't have to be. And that's why probably you and Jeffrey actually work. She's not very deep. You're not very deep. It works, But I definitely feel he has to take some accountability in regards to this scenario. And if he feels like, the sketchiness of two baby dads not being present, sir, that's been a long time coming. So, yeah, you don't get a pass. Go for it, Seaway.
All I was going to add is that unless those two the fathers of her children, did anything to him post-show, it was not right for him to bring it up and weaponize her situation after the fact. If you guys went into the situation, she's been very clear about, if she's been very clear about anything, is the fact that she has 3 children and 2 fathers. She said that over and over and over and over again. Good, bad, or indifferent, she said that. So I think weaponizing that fact after the fact, unless something new happened, was not right. That's not right, because you had that knowledge. And that would be on you. So I won't be kikiing about that if that's what happened and there's no reason for that. It's like, come on now. I don't think that's cool.
I can definitely agree with that. And I was gonna say, like, when Andre's sister was introduced to both of his connections, like shortly before, I think she kind of was open to the idea, but when he revealed that they both have children, it was like, that's when the tone just dropped. It was like, not again. Like, she probably knows that he's dated these previous ladies with children as well. So she was probably thinking, you've come on a show to find a lady and you end up in the same situation that you have been doing, like, before you even came on the show. Like, you're making the same mistakes. So that's probably one of the reasons why she wasn't there for it. That she wasn't really feeling those choices. But yeah, like, let's not get it twisted. Andre needs someone to inflate his ego, someone to speak highly of him all the time. And Jeffrey did that, right? She stroked his ego. And you know, he returned it as well, because even though there's this notion that a lot of guys saw her as wife, I think Andre did, but I can't recall anybody else really saying that. But they could actually have a decent relationship if they're both serious, because taking on 3 children is a serious thing to do when you have none, and that's both ways. You know, if a guy had 3 baby mothers, you know, I would definitely tell the lady to tread carefully. You know, take it serious if you get into a relationship with that guy, because the kids might have to get attached to you, and you know, it's going to have to be a long-term relationship. I don't think that Jeffrey could have really picked any other guy that would have been there, that satisfies what her criteria was, and that's why I think she went for Andre. You know, you have to remember, these people are not forced to make they're forced to go on dates by the production, but the connections they make, that's down to them, and the choices that they gravitate towards. So we'll have to see what happens at the reunion, but I still don't hate their connection. I think, you know, they're probably made for each other.
I don't know about made for each other. Are they both somewhat superficial in appearance on the show? Yes, they appear to be, but the problem here lies that either they don't know who they are, or we don't really know who they are, but they just seem to be, in my opinion, different areas of their lives. Like Seaway had said, I think part of the attraction Homeboy had to her was this feminine appeal or air that she had. Now, the question now for me is, why does this gentleman always, or appear to, hit, you know, women, I should say single mothers? That seems to be his MO. What's in it for him? Like, is it just because he's dying to be a father, but he doesn't want to actually have kids? I don't think so. I think there is a point where some of these women are more vulnerable than someone who isn't, and there's a certain amount of control he might desire, because he's probably not as confident as he likes to push, because always pushing his resume. So I feel there's a certain amount of insecurity he has, where if he feels he can get to a single mother who is, I won't say desperate, but is longing to have a partner like him, I think that now helps his whole story. But I don't know if I don't think he knows who he is. So I don't think he's well matched to a woman who has responsibilities. I think he does. Like we all have work to do, but he's got a little bit more work to do. I don't think he knows who he is, because I think he's targeting this woman for a reason. Honestly, that's what I think. Cause like this. Come on, like it's not a coincidence. Like I was this. He's like, gentlemen, either have kids or stick with the women you're dating that have kids. Because he's talking about how, you know, he's had pain when he broke up with the other lady, but here you go, you're with a woman now with 3, and in 2 weeks flat, it's over. This guy needs to go back to the repair shop. That's all I can think of. Like, I don't think Jeffrey's a great prize, but I don't think she deserves that, because she has children she's responsible for. So wherever her mind is at, that's what's going to affect the kids too. So she definitely doesn't deserve an unstable man like Andre. I hate to call him unstable, but he like low key kind of like, yeah. See, and you know what? I remember we were the panel. One panel was on with you guys where I heard him say something about, like, yeah, he wanted a woman to chase him, so he knows the woman wants him. That's a red flag for me. Like, you don't know a woman wants you unless she pursues you. I don't want to start this whole conversation how I believe that a man is meant to pursue, but that to me is a red flag. So yeah, let me just stop there before I chew him out and destroy him, because it could go there. I'm done. Like, that's how I feel. So yeah, I'm done. Let me put up a mic.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. Any last words on these two before I switch it to Cynthia and Anthony? Cool. All right, cool. Let's go to Cynthia and Anthony. All right, cool. Cynthia and Anthony, they actually, I believe they chose each other. So they kissed and they chose each other. She looked good, you know, she was an all white baby. Okay. Looking like an angel from heaven. Okay. you know. So it was good to see those two choose each other. I don't know how much long-term success they actually have going together. If I'm honest with you, I don't think he's her first choice. I don't think she's his first choice. Okay, so but they did choose each other in the end. So I want to get you guys' thoughts because I ain't gonna lie to you. Her friends were flaming. Like, yo, the same way the brother was flaming, her friends were flaming too. And I don't know, I felt a little bit uneasy about the flaming. I was like, I get you want to defend your girl, but you guys are kind of flaming. And it was a little bit, you know, when people start making like, we gonna find you kind of things, I'm like, y'all know you ain't gonna do that. Okay, stop the cap. Okay, but yeah, so it was interesting to see, obviously, Anthony, Cynthia, and their date. I want to get you guys' thoughts. What did you guys think of the date? I say date, sorry, the meeting with the friends. What was your thoughts? You know, what was your thoughts? I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought her friend on the left was quite cute. So nearest to the camera. But hey, what was you guys' thoughts?
What do we think about the friends? The sister and
the friends meeting. Yeah.
So yeah, like they're like trying to be a little gangster with it, but you know, they try. I thought they were sweet, but what I did notice here was all those three women looked up to Cynthia. Now, Cynthia's been to me. Cynthia is, I don't know why I love the woman so much because I'm a woman. I'm not trying to date her, but I have a lot of respect for what journey she's been on. Because when you see someone who appears to, I don't know, there's something that she taps into. She's very present. That means she's been through something. She has a story, and I can respect that. And she's honest, she's sincere. She comes off the camera as authentic. But to even enhance that, the way those women were going hard for her, not just because of the cameras, but because of how they felt for her. So it really shows me, makes me almost see the kind of person she is to people she's close to. Because those women care for her. Because they were like, they had this kind of dicey way of trying to chop the guys up. Like but at the end of it, I don't remember who said it, where she said, if you know what this woman means to us, that's how important she is. That tells me the character and caliber of woman she is. The only thing I can complain about that's confused me about Cynthia in the whole season was that last conversation she had with Homeboy with three hairstyles. Like, I was completely confused, and maybe you men can tell me more. Because at 1 minute, I just felt that she was literally having Andre on just to continue the process, just to have, you know, options. But at the last part where Andre was going to say, I choose Jeffrey, she talked about, yeah, it didn't make sense. The part where she said, well, something about comparing a diamond to glass and like almost trying to convince him that no, he should pick her. I was really confused by that, but by everything else, Cynthia has really come across to me as authentic and ready for a life partner. So I really saw her and what's his name, Anthony NP, as a good choice because he seems like a solid, you know, brother where he's not really moved by the wind. He just kind of stays where he is and speaks when he needs to. But you'll see the man in him sometimes. For example, when Cynthia's baby daddy, who was playing around with them, he wasn't wavered or moved by the guy's nonsense. He said, yo, I'm going to be around here, take my number. He didn't let the guy play him. So I have respect for that union. But now I'm almost wondering, like, yo, did she really want him? Because she didn't stop coming for Andre till, I don't know, we didn't get any clips, but the last thing we saw them together was that part where she was telling him that, yo, that she's a diamond. Like, when you have to put a woman down, I don't care who you are, that just makes me worry and wonder, like, okay, this whole picture I have of you, am I confused and did I make it up? One, and then two, like, what do you see in Homie? Like you a dime piece, like you everything, and I hate to put this man down because I don't know him, but you people are different. You know how, yeah, she's way above him. I'm sorry. Yo, if Brat is watching, I'm not enemy of state, but like Cynthia is, she's miles above Andre in my personal opinion. So the fact that she was still trying to stop him from telling her that he wanted to be with Jeffrey just muddied the waters for me. So just left me confused. Like, oh, so maybe Anthony isn't her first choice? Like, was she, like, I don't know. So now I'm like, was he not, like, Anthony, like, I guess he had choices, but his choices dwindled quite quick. So the truth is, now I wonder, you know, are they each other's first choice? Because if you don't go for your first choice, I'm sorry. When life comes through, it's not going to stand unless something else happens. So now I wonder, was this gentleman her first choice, or was she just playing the game, playing chess? I am now really confused because before that moment, before that clip, I said these people are going to go, they're going to make the distance. Now I'm not so sure.
Good points. Good points. Anyone else want to chime in?
I like the pairing of Cynthia and Anthony. You know, I think she has been solid and consistent from the start. I can see why a lot of people do find her very easy to get along with, appealing, articulate. So the connection, I know people doubt Anthony's sincerity or think he doesn't come with much. But hey, like I've said before, doesn't have to be toxic to be real. All right. This guy has a profession. He's got a daughter. She's got children herself. She's career driven and has a few businesses herself. You know, he could be, maybe not to everybody's taste, but he could be what she's looking for. You know, someone who's solid, who will, you know, date her and take her to a different level emotionally than what she's used to having. Because to me, it always seemed like the relationship she had with the baby father, you know, that was what, 12 years, and she hadn't felt the love that she wants to feel, you know. So that relationship may have been long and draining, and we've met the guy on the show when he came on, and you know, it seems like he's going to be a handful to deal with. So having come through that, and she's able to come across in the way she has, you know, I wish her all the best with Anthony. I hope their relationship really does go somewhere, you know. That's all I have to say about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it long term for those two. I guess I just don't see the connection. And I really do hope I'm wrong about it. But it doesn't look like there's a spark there with those two. To me, it looks like a relationship of convenience. More for her than him, but I don't think he's really crazy about her either. Truth be told, funny enough, between Anthony and Andre, I think they both wanted Mercedes. I think they both really wanted Mercedes, but she didn't want them. You know, that's why Andre was so in his feelings that she didn't check on him after he was sick. And then Anthony got friend zoned by Mercedes. So, and Cynthia seemed to be more distraught about trying to pick between the two of them. And I think she just landed with Anthony because it was the quote unquote right choice. But I'm not sure how fully invested in her choice she is. So we'll see. And again, I'm hoping to be wrong about the two of them, but I don't see the connection and the fireworks. And not to say like they need to be jumping down each other's pants or anything like that. I'm not trying to be crude, but I don't see any electricity. I don't see the connection between the two of them. Some people have a slow burn. So again, I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to, you know, hope that they're seeing the value in what each other brings, right? They both have children, both are stable, and have goals and can grow together, and they could do great things. I just don't think it's going to happen because that kinetic energy that we usually see between a couple, I don't see it. I don't see it between the two of them.
The only reason why Cynthia is with Anthony right now, she's trying to take your advice, Kojo, the advice you give to Jacquelina, and she's trying to do better and pick better, but it still ain't gonna work because she don't like this man and she's bored and they're boring to look at. And like Sean said, neither one of them like each other for real. And I also think that although Anthony is a better choice than maybe her past choices, he's still not a good choice because I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw him. He's very disingenuous if you ask me. I don't believe he mean half the stuff that he's saying, to be honest. I just haven't spent a lot of time talking about him because again, he's boring. But I don't trust him. So yeah, I don't mind her for trying to pick better. This one just isn't it. But, we'll let it ride out and see how long how far it goes.
Anthony, holler at me. What's up, Anthony? Let me know. Like, if y'all don't work out, let me know what's up. What's up?
Y'all gonna have to coordinate y'all shifts because unless you're here for a short time, not a long time, Lola.
Good time. You know what? See, wait, yeah, you on the money. The truth is, unfortunately, and that's I can't speak for men, but I can speak for women. The people who are just the good guys and they just don't make your loins heat up the way the bad boys do, and kind of looks like that. I'm sorry. I hope it were. I don't know. Like maybe we need Jesus, but kind of that's what it kind of looks like. I don't know. Hopefully it'll work out. I don't know, but it's just not looking like for both sides. It's just not looking so because. Yeah, particularly when Mercedes dropped out. Yeah, it was just, that's all I have to say. But Anthony, you all right? I don't know, maybe is he like short? Is that the issue? I don't know how tall he is. You look different on camera, but he well put together. He's part of the Beard gang. That always works. Like he's a decent young man, so he's gonna hit the ground running.
He's very passive though, Lola. It's very passive.
Yeah,
and not even in the Marshall Love is Blind passive. He's like indecisive.
Oh, ouch.
And he didn't even show real interest in anybody until like halfway, 75% through the season.
But he and Cynthia, their first date seemed interesting. I mean, I know she was the one propelling the chemistry and the energy, but he looked like he was into it, and that was earlier on once Andre was missing. But then I feel the other people he didn't show interest in, he wasn't interested in them. That's what I feel like. Like that's why I feel like he was like a cool, calm kind of like, I'm not feeling like that. I know I'm on a dating show, but I'm not going to put myself out. I don't know. There are some men like that they only move every once 10 years if somebody moves them. I don't know. They're used to being chased. I don't know. I'm just guessing right now. I'm just throwing stuff out there, but like, I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
the thing is, the problem.
He wasn't moved. I think if he really, really was like really into Cynthia, and I do think he's into Cynthia more than Cynthia's into him, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if he was really into Cynthia, maybe it would be a little different. But we know when a man really likes us. I think he's kind of blah about her.
It's like, yeah, let's go.
And y'all, I don't have nothing against Anthony. I'm just calling it how I see it. I don't really trust him. Something about him just doesn't feel genuine to me. And I'm pretty good at reading people. My discernment is the one thing my bisabuela gave me. I can read someone pretty quickly, and something about him just ain't right. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't got no proof, so don't ask me nothing. I'm just saying my gut feeling just is not right. And then the part about them being boring is just TV boring. He could be cool in real life. I'm just saying,
right.
bored with them on my TV screen. That's all I'm saying. He could be chill for real life.
Yeah.
So that's just is what it is in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So I think you both hit the nail on the head. Like, he may actually be dry, in your opinion. He may be flat. He doesn't set the loins on fire. He's not toxic. He's not a bad boy. But that is the problem. Because it shouldn't take for a toxic bad boy to make you feel like the connection on his side is genuine. Yeah, those are things that are unfortunately too prevalent in the dating culture, but they're not needed. Like, he has kids, she has kids, so both of these two have to take their time. If it is a slow burn, it's a slow burn, but the connection has to start somewhere. It doesn't have to be wild, aggressive, passionate, cussing each other out, humping each other and doing all this other stuff. It doesn't have to be that. Is it built for long term? I don't know, only time will tell. But I can't just look at Anthony and say, oh, you know what, he must be hiding something, or he must be doing something. I can't do that personally, because there have been other guys on the show that have been worse than him. Worse. They've exhibited much worse behavior. You got guys dating other girls outside the show. You got hot-headed guys. You got argumentative. You know, you've got so many different instances of those crazy behaviors. We don't need another one. So I think part of the appeal with Anthony is it's refreshing. You know, if she's had 12 years of dealing with a back and forth with a hot-headed guy, then she comes on the show and she sees other hot-headed guys going back and forth with their connections. This guy is someone that's largely stayed out of the loop. He wasn't in the bottom. No, he wasn't voted in the bottom at any stage. He managed to have 2 or 3 connections. Maybe they were just fleeting connections, nothing serious. But yeah, like, if they've chosen each other at the end of the show, I can only go by what I saw. And that's enough for me. Like, they liked each other enough to say that they chose each other, and they're going to see how it goes in real life. It might not work, but at least they're giving it a try. But I definitely don't think toxic and, you know, the bad boy thing is equals longevity. It doesn't. You know, most of the time when those relationships end, there's regret for choosing that toxic bad boy. There's regret. Or you're left with a situation where you got proven wrong about your decision. So, yeah, like, this guy seems to be quite established career professional. Again, structured, disciplined, mild. You know, but that stands out in a bunch of toxic men that might be on the show.
I have a question, JR. Why we got to jump all the way to toxic? Why? How does showing interest mean you want toxic, or how does having a personality mean that you're toxic? I saw people in the comments saying that Kojo has a personality. He's not toxic except when he's wearing that bucket hat, right? And Sean has a personality. He not toxic all the time. But y'all get my point. I'm about to mess up my own effing point. But y'all get my point. You know, it's not one end or the other. You know what I mean? They just don't have chemistry, and it just ain't it. Like, there's something off. I think there's something off with him, and there's something off with them. Now, does Cynthia May want a little bit of toxic? Could be her ex-husband. I think she was married or something. Child's father. He does seem like he's a little toxic. But I'm pretty sure with everything that she's been through, she wants something different that isn't like that. But it just isn't Anthony. And that's okay. But I commend her for trying to date him, because she knows she wants better. And he symbolizes something that's better, but I just don't think it's it. You get what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. The thing is, it's Anthony for the time being. That's all I'm trying to say. It may not be long term, but it's Anthony for the time being. That's the difference. You know, like, she may be used to dating a certain type of guy. She's come away from that and chosen something different. And we'll have to see how that goes. But the reason why I mentioned toxic specifically is because when we talk about passion, emotion, feelings, things like that, and we hear how men are described, it's like there's a certain way that we have to act, or a certain level of bad boy, or a certain level of being a man's man, or a certain, you know, and those pigeonhole, those things pigeonhole guys, and makes it seem like we have to be that way in order to show that we really care about someone. In this instance, like I said, the chemistry is enough to get them to where they are now. And I'm happy with that. I'm cool with that. I trust her discernment. I trust his discernment as well. And, you know, let their relationship go wherever it leads them.
Don't say anything,
I think
Okojo. Don't say anything. Please address this. When those toxic tendencies you get when you're wearing that camouflage, see where hit it on the head, like that bucket, like the days when you just want to misbehave. And I forget that you're a Christian. I know my brother, but I know my brother. Sean, you're not innocent either.
Yeah, that's what gives us the edge. That's what you're asking for. That's what Siwa is saying. That's what she's saying. That's what gives us the edge. You need a little bit of that toxicity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want a boring brother. And I genuinely actually understand what you're saying. I think it's just the wrong context. I think I actually understand what you're saying. So I think the show is the wrong context. It's a bit like the Brett and Tiffany situation. I find them boring. On Love is Blind, they are boring. My God, they are boring. Yeah, all the long, eloquent speeches that they have, they're boring. Okay. All right. It's just so nice. It's so cute. You know, there's no spark that I'm seeing. They have a spark between themselves, but I'm saying I don't see the spark. I want to see the back and forth. I want to see the, you know, the flirtatious, baby. I want to see more of the thing. It's everything just too nice, you know. But y'all be loving Brett and Tiffany. Do you know why? Because the context is different. It's Love is Blind. On Ready to Love, we're all expecting a bit of an edge. So if the context was different, if Anthony was on Love is Blind and he had someone like Tiffany, we would all be behind him saying how great Anthony is. This is the kind of black man we want to see, da 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 da. But we've got so used to this conditioning with Ready to Love. We're asking for some level, a little bit of toxicity from Anthony. We want to see some edge to him. But on Love is Blind, we're not asking for edge. Brett is boring. No, please, guys. He is boring.
But Kojo, just let me stop you real quick. When they was laying on that bed and she had on the bathing suit and he cupped the cheeks, that's the chemistry. There was chemistry there and the cakes was caking. You know what I'm saying? And when she stroked his head and she was crying and, you know, she was just crying for whatever she was crying because there was too much good things between them. Who knows what she was crying about? But she laid on his chest. You know, that's the chemistry that we're talking about that we don't see between these two. I don't think it's toxic. You know, it's chemistry. Like, I don't need the fighting and the tussling. I mean, me personally, I need a little bit of it. That's my toxic edge. So Seaway did call me out correctly, but I do love how I can never get a full-fledged compliment, but I'll take it. A win is a win. But yeah, I think that's what I think that's what's missing. I don't see the connection. They had their little kiss and it was just like, meh, you know, he jumped up out of the pool. It was like, yeah, I don't know. I think that's more what we're talking about, at least.
Okay, that's fair. If you're talking about actual him showing some genuine interest, no, I agree with you. He's not showing any genuine interest. You know, with Cynthia, right? But it may be that also, again, he's just not that kind of way. You know what I mean? He may just be not that kind of way. Maybe he's a bit more low key when it comes to those kind of things. He's not as, and that's what I'm saying. He's boring. It's just that real. He's boring. It's unfortunate, but he's boring. Some people's relationships are generally boring. Look, as much as you want to say about the booty grab, they had to show that. After that, there is nothing else that is exciting about these two. Brett and Tiffany are not exciting. Apart from the booty grab, after that, there is nothing exciting about them. Okay, so I'm not invested in them like that. I mean, I want them to win, but I'm saying I'm not invested in them because there's nothing exciting about their relationship. They're going to make it. They're going to be sturdy. I can see them getting to 90 and sitting on a porch, rocking back and forth with lemonade juice. I can see them making it all the way there. And so I've got no problem with that. I want to see that. I want to see them win, but I'm not. You don't get excited about Brett and Tiffany. Are you telling me you're excited about Brett and Tiffany? I'm not. You know, and some people are just boring. And that's okay. When I say boring sounds so rude. But what I mean is they're just regular. They're regular, schmegular, degular. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's normal. There's nothing to give. So sometimes what if Anthony had a little bit of an edge, something about him, maybe not toxicity, but just give us a little something, you know? Give a little something, like a little bass in your voice one time, you know what I mean? Like everything's very even kill with Anthony. Very even kill. James coming at you, just even kill. You know what I mean? Mercedes don't want you, you're even kill. You know, like there is no fluctuation in anything that he does. He's very even across the board. it's like, you know what I mean? We can't even get Anthony angry because he's still even kill. It's like, bro, I mean, give me something. I want to feel something, you know. And I think I don't get that from Anthony, you know. But I definitely hear you. He's not interested in Cynthia. I agree that. He's like his eyes elsewhere. Someone said, "Oh no, regular equals boring." Yeah, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't want to date those men, so let's be honest. Y'all want a little bit of toxicity. Y'all want a bucket hat toxicity. Just be honest with yourselves, okay? Yeah, you want a little bit of that little nastiness. Let's be real, okay? Y'all be calling these. There's a video. I've not seen it. There's a video. I'll show you guys maybe behind the scenes. There's a video by talking about Christian brothers and how they're boring in the church, and the Christian sisters are boring in the church because they don't know how to flirt. It's hella funny. I'll show it to you guys later. Well,
yeah, no, I gotta see that. You know that this one, it's a story time, right? So y'all know I used to, you know, I'm not anymore, so don't start sending me a whole bunch of scriptures and I need to get saved and my salvation is in jeopardy. Woo! Kojo, your subscribers be killing me. But anyway, I used to run a Bible study, right? Together with my best friend. And there was this one girl, and I was in my mid-20s. And this one girl got so upset at us. And I didn't even know. I was like, you know when something like totally blindsides you? I'm like, what? She was like, oh, y'all are using this Bible study to date girls. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you know, so it's funny that you made me think about that when you said Christians are boring, because they were like, oh, y'all are just using y'all, da 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 da. And I'm like, where is this coming from? You know, but I think there is a thing about Christian guys being boring. And then there's another aspect of Christian men being manipulative and using, you know, our powers to go down a dark path. But I wasn't doing that, I promise.
Like my King David.
I wasn't doing that.
You know how much I love David.
Yeah, I know. I might have been slightly toxic, and you know, so, but
I can't lie to you. I was manipulative. Parts of me were manipulative. I'm gonna be honest with you, so I'll be real with you. I've used the Bible study before, so I won't lie to you. You know, like I said, everyone's got to have a little bit of an edge, man. Look, everyone wants to have a bit of an edge. You need it. You know, doesn't have to be necessarily toxic, but you do need some. Do you know what? Someone might call it toxic. I think everyone needs a little bit of dark energy, just a little bit. You need just a little bit of dark energy. I'm telling you now, just a little bit. You know. I know not everyone can do that, and not everyone can come back from that darkness. And maybe some of you shouldn't take that trip. But for those of us who know, listen, a little bit of darkness, you know, a little bit of bass in your voice one time, you know what I mean? A little bit of, hey, stop that. You know, like, listen, I'm telling you, it will do something for you, man. You see how Marshall's getting treated? All that light, and he's still getting whipped like Jesus on the cross, Jesus on Resurrection Day.
No matter what they say, you know, they hate when us guys get on the mic on YouTube and we start talking like a podcaster, right? But they like it a little bit. There's a little contradiction in it, but you gotta have some pushback. You can't just be.
You can't twerk on the bed, Sean. You
what?
Can't twerk on a bed.
Well, look, I don't know what came into him. Maybe he was reliving some college experience. I've never done that before, so I don't know why.
All these girls talk about, I would do right by Marshall. If you saw that man twerking on the bed, you would not be happy with that. You just wouldn't. And if you say you would, that's cap. Now, Jackie ain't had to do it the way she did it, but come on now, you twerking on the bed. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you as well. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you. Absolutely not.
There's someone out there for you guys who want to talk on the bed. There is somebody out there for you. The ladies say it all the time. There's someone from them. There's someone out there for him, Marshall. There's someone out there for you.
Keep being you, right? That's what they tell. That's what you tell the ladies, right? Just be yourself, and you're gonna find your king. So all the guys, just be yourself.
Be yourself. You'll find your queen.
Just be you.
You keep twerking. The queens are out there. Okay. Oh, gracious. No, but you know, I definitely hear what you're saying. Sorry, JL, did you want to say something?
Nah, better not, because I don't want to get cancelled. So
oh, you might as well say it, sir. cancelled. You can't be cancelled around here. Proceeds and get cancelled after.
No, I was gonna say, look, like, I know it's another show, but Marshall was moving mad. Yeah, like, there's no way like a girl's gonna walk in and find you twerking on the like. What was he doing? You know, and to be real, most women would like a well-spoken, articulate guy that is in touch with his emotions and all that other stuff. Twerking is way too far. Anthony is very dry. Like, he wouldn't even be quirky enough to do anything crazy like that from what we've seen. So I agree with what you were saying, Coach. The thing is, a lot of relationships are boring. You might want to hype them up, or, you know, look at them as being spectacular and amazing and all that other stuff. No, most of the time, you know, it's dry. It's boring. You have to find new ways to bring excitement into your relationships, into the bedroom, into your conversation, different dates, activities that you do together, and things like that. It's a constant process in most relationships. It very rarely is the case where you meet someone, you have fireworks at the beginning, then it's fireworks all the way through, and you're constantly, like, you know, feeding off each other like that. That's not how it blooms. That's not how it goes. Not in this day and age. So in reality, like I said, I think the point I was trying to make is I'd rather see these two get together and try and make something work, because there isn't the back and forth and the problems that we've seen with some of the other couples. This seems to be one that is just based on liking each other for who they are and then seeing how it goes from there. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
You're right, JR. It definitely could work. You know, maybe it's a slow burn. I just don't think a lot of us are seeing it right now. But let's just see what happens.
That's very true. That's if Cynthia and Anthony give it a chance. I think both of them are. I think both of them are a little bit like, I don't know if they actually want it. Do you know what I mean? So if they both can see it for each other, then fine. But I don't think they both see it. Do you know what I mean? So I think they both don't necessarily didn't want each other at number one. So we'll see. We'll see. You know. Any of last thoughts? Any last thoughts? I mean, what did you guys think of the little clip of the reunion? Let's do that a little bit. What's that last bit of reunion? You know, what's your thoughts?
I can't
Yes,
wait.
Lola.
I'm excited. I can't wait. Like, this is going to be delicious. This is going to be the best part of the season. Yeah, the rest of it, like watching paint dry. But this, whew, that's it. Like, I'm working through the whole week, but I'm going to make time for this. And when I say work, I'm working like 11, 12 hours. But
I want to see who's with who from last season. It's looking like it's Pretty Eye Blue with somebody. That's what it's looking like.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
I think he's gonna be with Kayla.
Yeah.
Kayla.
I think so too, maybe.
Kayla.
Maybe. I can
Never would
see
I have
it.
seen that coming.
I'm calling it, and if I'm right, I want $50 super chat.
You ain't gonna get it from me because I agree.
Cash App.
I agree because Kayla want a man with some funds, and Blue look like he got some funds.
Because remember, she's dating somebody from another season of Miami.
Oh.
Hell no,
I just
it ain't.
can't see that.
If it's Trinika, I'm gonna fall out. And JR, look, that's gonna hurt your heart.
JR
What's that, Trinika?
Mad. He gonna be big mad.
Listen, I know it's not going to be Kayla because, well, actually, I can't say I know. I doubt it would be Kayla unless she wants to come back to increase her following in the socials and things, more TV time. But I doubt that would be a genuine connection. She doesn't strike me as the type of person that would be happy dating a Blue. Blue seems quite dry also, similar to Anthony. You know, there's nothing really flamboyant, edgy, maybe his eyes, maybe, but nothing else. So, yeah, I think it's Trinika. I think he's dating Trinika.
I don't see that. That would really throw me off.
What, Triniko threw you off
Triniko
compared to
was the one with the
Kayla?
hand thing, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
she bust up her hand because so it made it worse. My crush is car into her.
I'm gonna leave it alone, but I don't really see that. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Oh, well, Sabrina's in the chat, and she said it's not Trinika.
Right. Thank you very much. I
okay.
figured
Yeah,
that.
but people are saying that they saw it in the picture, Blue and Triniko in the picture.
A picture don't mean nothing.
Oh, I just can't see it being Kayla.
First of all, you got to think about who Blue will want. Blue is a pretty-eyed business owner down there in Miami. Now let's do the process of elimination.
All right.
Hardcore Kayla with Blue.
That's two things. That's two things I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get me a $50 cash out from Kojo, and I'm gonna get me an apology.
Hey. I'm not betting nothing. These people are crazy. I'm not betting nothing. These people are crazy. I'm not betting nothing. It's more than possible this could happen.
All jokes, people, please.
Miami is crazy.
I can see it being Kayla. Honestly, Jamala, I don't think so.
Well, let's wait and see.
Interesting.
That's all I got. I mean, it's gonna be.
Who else was in that season? Who else was on their season then? So Kayla, Trinika,
Sharice,
Jamala.
Jamala.
Well, let's just wait and see.
Kadian.
It's not going to be
we know
Kadian.
Shakira.
Oh, see, I can see Shakira with him. I ain't gonna lie. I can see Shakira with him. I ain't gonna lie. She got that calm energy. Well, she got that, you know, she can have a calm energy. You know, I think that could work with her and Blue. I just don't.
Oh, April. I forgot about her.
April, you know, April was pretty cool. April's beautiful sound.
Oh, the really pretty, the pretty lady who was a little older. She was really pretty.
Oh, that's right. She came on at the end, right?
Yeah, towards the end. What was her name? Oh, that was April.
Dragging her feet in them flip flops.
That
was April.
Okay. And she lasted like two episodes, and then went home or something.
Yeah, she went early.
That's interesting. Okay, so we'll have to find out because that's. I ain't never seen that coming. That's what I'm gonna say.
I want to see if Morgan ever talks about the little apology that y'all want that he ain't even asking for.
Blake.
To Blake.
For Blake, yeah. I doubt that's gonna come up.
Oh, Blake. Yeah, she ain't gonna apologize to Blake if she was cussing out Tony at the reunion.
Oh,
she ain't gonna apologize for nobody.
What about
Looney? Oh, Looney probably could. You know, if he's got money, you know, stable and he's got a business, I can see that happening.
Looney's a good shout. Not
because she's a gold digger or anything. Not because she's a gold digger.
No. Looney's a good shout.
Looney could be a good shout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What does a good shout mean?
Like
it's a good choice, a good bet.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's a good bet. That's the right word. A good bet. It's good. That's the right word. So maybe Looney could be on. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But he another one, like you said, he's a little bit dry. So
I don't know. Only person I'm really seeing is Kayla. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Why Kayla? What do you see? Yeah, what makes you think that?
Blue looks like he's very picky.
Okay.
So
Blue looks like he gets baddies thrown at him all the time. And I feel like Kayla kind of fits that aesthetic.
Okay.
Just by the way he moved through this season. And this season had a lot of beautiful people. And he still seemed kind of unimpressed. So, because I think the people that he liked also didn't match, like have that kind of high energy that he needed. I feel like Kayla matches the energy plus the aesthetic. I don't know, just in my opinion. I feel like that's the person I would pick because she has a personality, and I think he needs someone with a personality to balance his dryness. If it's not her, then maybe Looney. Because Looney has a personality too, but I think it would be Kayla.
I think I'm gonna change my pick. I'm gonna go with Looney.
I'm gonna go Looney too. Although I haven't been following her, so I don't know what she's doing. But yeah.
I'm just gonna wait and see.
Interesting. All right. Sean, do what you do best, baby. Pause.
That is not a pause moment.
That is, I call him baby. I
Well,
call him baby.
When he put the baby on the end of it, yes, it kind of was.
And I hope y'all watched that TikTok I sent you. That was a real pause moment.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know y'all didn't watch it.
If you don't stay off of TikTok and sending us these godforsaken things,
I'm trying to keep you young and keep you on TikTok, Sean. You need to be watching my
I
TikTok.
swear, why do I always catch a stray with you? You trying to keep me young like I'm old? What? See, wait, I'm always getting caught in with a stray. Always left, right, front, and center.
Let me aim a different way.
No, just don't. No.
Let me not shoot. Let me put my gun away.
Please. I catch a stray, boy. I don't stand a chance. All right, folks.
Is it justice? Antoinette, please log off. Please log off for us.
So I don't even know how to do a benediction for this. All right. I think I can pull something together. So first couple, that we spend a lot of time talking about. And I think look, self-reflection is super, super important. And we say this here very often, relationships are a mirror. So if you see a trend, you see a pattern showing up in consistent relationships, you need to look in the mirror and see who the common denominator is. And it is you, right? It is us. So before we get to pulling a splint out of our partner's eyes, we need to pull the log out of our very own, right? We need to be self-reflective. We need to be open and willing to see what we do wrong, because pointing the finger outward is the easy work. When we look inward, that takes the hard work, because guess what? Once we look inward, there's accountability that comes forward, and that means we have to do different. So let's do different. Let's make different choices to have better relationships. And sometimes it does mean choosing yourself. So when it comes to Morgan and Tony, my hope is that choosing herself was her first step in learning herself and doing better for herself. Not to judge, not to beat up on, but there's definitely some red flags in her behavior that we do see and that need to be changed and tweaked. For Tony, being self-aware and not caught up, that is part of being and regulating our emotions, right? Not letting someone's actions dictate how we move, but moving in the best way and the right way. Next, we have Mercedes and Mark Anthony. There's some of us that are on the side of the fence that, she's just a lighthearted, loving young lady that wants love. And some of us think that, she wants more of a good time. However, a win is a win, and she chose herself. So we must celebrate that she didn't knowingly go into a loving relationship with someone that whose roots weren't planted, right? And that's so important in relationships. I think this is a lesson for us all, right? Where our roots are planted is super, super important, right? And our foundation of our relationships needs to be sure. If your foundation is not sure, the house will sink, right? So we must be on the same page. We must be aligned to have a successful, long-lasting relationship. Jeffrey and Andre, when we get obsessed with the surface, that's all we will have is the surface. We will never get to the other elements of the relationship. So although the surface is important, attraction is important, desire is important, it can't be everything, because we have to remove the veil and show our true selves to be honest and have successful relationships. Anthony and Cynthia, then this is just the exact opposite, right? Look, we do need chemistry. We need to see sparks. Some of us see it, some of us don't. We want healthy, right? We do want healthy. We don't want toxic. We do want a little bit of an edge. We do want some fun. We want some pushback. Neither one of us wants somebody that is always going to bend to our wills. We need someone that's going to help us get better. Iron sharpens iron, right? We can't sharpen a knife with a piece of wood, right? We have to have iron to sharpen iron. So we each need to have a bit of strength, a bit of passion to be able to push back, inspect, open, see, and be that mirror to our spouse to help us grow and get better. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate that. And appreciate you, Deacon. Listen, audience, it's been crazy. It's been brilliant. Do me a massive, massive favor. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're liking this live, okay? We had over 800 of you guys in here today watching the show. So much appreciation. As Sean said, a win is a win. So, shout out to Mercedes if you're watching as well. Please make sure you pour some water into Sean and JR's mouth. They are hella thirsty. But we're gonna appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all for coming through and showing out as well. So once they're looking over Bible study notes, that's how you get in trouble in the first place. Y'all don't know the kind of Bible study I have. What's that orange juice, bro?
Bro, I got juice. I'm not thirsty at all. I keep my thirst quenched with some AJ. Tropicana.
Oh, snap. Just like that?
What?
That's what you coming with?
Hey, Sean, get your boy. What?
That was so funny.
It was so bad. It was so bad. Oh, JR, that was amazing. You know what? Shoot, hopefully we get some sponsorship off that, because that was amazing. I ain't gonna lie to you, like that could be an advert. No play. That could be an advert. I'm gonna have to try and submit that as an idea. But listen, audience, it's been good. It's been powerful. Don't fall prey to Bible flex and chill. Okay, all right. There's people like Sean out there who are willing to take you to Songs of Solomon, and before you know it, young lust is awakened. So y'all better be careful out there. Okay, I know you want those men with edge. All right, the men of God with edge. So we appreciate y'all. But you know what? We can't leave you without leaving with something, as we always do.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
All right. And for those people out there who need a little bit of help, just a little bit, because they've been a little bit crazy on this season, you know what?
Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Okay. We'll be back here again, guys, on Saturday once more. I believe, what's the date? 19th, 15th? I think I should be here, yeah. So we should be back here again for, I think, the reunion. I don't know if they're not taking a break, are they? Reunion? Straight to reunion next week, Friday? Their break. God damn, a week break? What's wrong with them?
There's a break?
There's no break. I don't think there's a break.
Oh, it's no break. So it's going to be Friday.
Right.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Right?
It'll be Friday. Okay, so then Saturday we'll be back then. Okay, so Saturday we'll be back. All right, cool. Then so Saturday we'll be back, guys. We're back here again once more for another live. But listen, it's been great. It's been amazing. It's been powerful. We'll see you again very, very soon. Much love and appreciation. Oh, thank you for reminding me. You know what? If you don't remind me, guys, sometimes we forget. That is true. Let's do the. I don't know. Someone put a question in the chat for me. JL, why are you crying like that? Oh, he's sneezing. I thought his brother was crying. I was like, bro, it's only a £5 quiz. Like, it's not that deep, bro. If someone could put a question in the chat for me, and I'll pose one for you guys as well on the panel, so you get one as well. So because I don't even call broke anymore. I'm tired of that. They're gonna compare me to Mark Anthony. Well, okay, cool. So question. I don't have none of my notes because I didn't do any notes on Ready to Love. Let me see. Let's see a question. What can I pose as a question for you guys today? Okay, cool.
In there, Kojo.
I don't even know the answer to that, but I'm gonna answer it. Put an answer in the private chat for me, sure, because I have no clue. But the question here is, okay. But first, I gotta play my little music to it because we gotta start it correctly, guys.
Oh my goodness.
You gotta do it correctly. so we know what it is before we start.
Potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, raw, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, raw, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, beans, greens.
Beautiful. All right. So the question we have here for you guys for the $5 Cash App is who said they vow to give honesty? So for those of you who are in the chat, the question is, who said they vow to give honesty? Who said those words? Who said those words? Who said those words? Oh, today's a hard one because I ain't seen the answers, you know.
Cheryl Ray was the first to get it.
Cheryl Ray, yeah, I see that one. I see that too. It was Andre. So Cheryl Ray, well done. You have a choice. You can take the $5 yourself, buy yourself a little coffee, or you can add it to the cash pot. I think it's like 30 now, the cash pot. So you can take $5, take it for yourself, or add $5 to the Cash App pot at the end of the season. You know, so it's up to you how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be pressured to put into the pot. Maybe if you want to take your $5, take your $5. Okay. All right. Don't worry about nobody else. Okay. Haitian said, take the money. Cheryl Ray said she's going to add it to the pot. Cheryl, you don't have to, you know. You don't have to. If it was me, I'll take it. $5 can do something for me. I'll tell you that now. That's £4.19 in UK money. I can do a lot. Y'all don't know, a meal deal. That's a sandwich, a drink, and a crisp and a chocolate. Y'all don't play
From where? With
From
£4?
From where?
£4.
Where are you gonna get that? That sounds like a stomach ache, bro.
From the supermarket, Tesco's.
Supermarket, bro. You don't know about them sandwich deals?
£4.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah, it's a £3 meal deal. Y'all don't know.
I've been gone.
Quality sandwich.
You can't even get McDonald's for
a
$4
quality
$5.
sandwich.
I know that. I went there.
One sandwich is about £5.
Oh, where was it
That's
that you
what
were all
bugging.
uptight? Did you go to Popeyes or something and you were like, I spent $20 for Popeyes? I forget where it was. You went somewhere.
It was something like that. I went to, I think it might have been a Popeye. I was like, I just spent so much money. I was like, it doesn't make sense.
The crazy thing is Popeyes charge the same amount over here as well for their burgers.
Mm-hmm.
So
This
it's
is
very
crazy.
expensive.
This is madness. Like, you guys,
too.
but Grace, when I was in New York, when I went there, it was empty. So I was actually all right. Not empty, but I was like 2-3 people in there. So I didn't really mind. The biscuits were slapping though. I mean, you don't call it biscuits, but it's really scones. But okay, cool. But you know,
those aren't scones, Kojo.
Bro, those are scones, bro.
They're not.
They are not biscuits.
Scones
they are scones.
Denser than that.
They're light scones.
And they have
They're
a
light
little
scones.
like sweetness to them. Bro.
That's a scone. That's a scone, bro. It's a scone. I'm so sorry.
No, we don't have scones and Popeyes. We don't have scones and Popeyes.
You have scones.
There's no scones and Popeyes.
It's scones. You have scones and Popeyes.
You cannot tweet out the Popeyes. They are biscuits.
They're not biscuits, sir. They're not biscuits, sir. They're scones. I want to know why you don't call it. Why do you not call it biscuits for real?
It's an American thing.
Because they're biscuits, Kojo.
No, biscuits are meant to be sweet and thin. That's not what biscuits are. Where I come from, biscuits are like crunchy and you bite into a biscuit.
Usually that's what
yeah. But it's something I had to get
why
used
biscuits.
Because what you guys call biscuits are really savory scones. I get what he's saying, but I just didn't want to jump on a bandwagon with him. It's like a butter scone. What you all call biscuits. It's a butter scone. I get it. It's completely that's what it's a big butter scone. But I'm not going to jump on with you.
The Americans saw our scones and said, "We'll just call it biscuits."
Rightfully,
you know, Americans like to be different.
Rightfully so. Look, England is the colonizer, so yes, when Massa took over, we took some of the traditions and made them our own. So perhaps a scone, a biscuit is a modified scone. I'll give it to you. But
yeah, it's a buttered scone.
Because them scones, every scone I've had, whether here or abroad, is quite dense, and biscuits are light and fluffy. You know.
They are, you know. I mean, the scones that you guys have is much lighter. It's much lighter than a scone.
We got biscuits.
Yeah, it is.
Biscuits, sorry, but I would say though, it's because rarely you have scones in UK that are warm. But if you ever had a scone that's warm, it has a similar kind of taste. It's much more. It's a little bit more denser, but not that much. It's a literally all it is a slight tweak on the recipe. But they are literally in the same bracket of family. Like that's a cousin. In fact, that's not even a cousin. That's like your half brother. Okay, so the scone and the biscuit are the same thing, bro. It's like you got a scone point 2.0. That's what y'all got. But it tastes good.
Popeyes biscuits are not light and fluffy.
No, you ain't gonna get Popeyes.
They are, but biscuits in and of themselves are pretty good. Listen, I had that strawberries biscuit from Popeyes. They got a new strawberries biscuit. Listen,
what?
Popeyes gonna pay us. Popeyes and Tropicana needs to sponsor this. But that strawberry biscuit was all right.
There's a strawberry biscuit from Popeyes?
They just started making it.
So that's a scone then. So it really is a scone.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a scone.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't.
I'm not gonna do this with y'all.
Kojo, what's the best place to get American breakfast?
It's for
what's the best place?
Yeah, where can you go get American breakfast at?
What, in UK?
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Oh, snap.
Nowhere.
No, I mean like real, like IHOP.
No, yeah.
No, they don't really.
McDonald's.
Nah, we don't. McDonald's is your closest bet, I think, because
McDonald's do pancakes.
Pancake stuff, yeah.
Syrup,
We really do that.
yeah.
Why
That's
has
not
nobody
usual
opened up
breakfast
an
for
American
Americans.
breakfast restaurant?
There is,
breakfast
but they're few and far between.
I think the English breakfast will beat an American breakfast any day, any time. I still yearn for an English breakfast, so I think that might be the biggest thing. Like, if you go for English breakfast.
English breakfast is disgusting.
Sis, that's not the deal. You haven't had the right one. Like English sausages are the best in the world. You have
that's ham. That's ham.
My goodness. Woo.
Is that ham?
No. A real English. Ooh. Yeah.
I think English breakfast is actually one of the nastiest breakfasts on earth.
And that's what Americans do. But the American palate is so designed for sugar that y'all really don't know what tastes good. That's my experience in restaurants. And that's me living here. I've lived here, 20 plus years. But I still fiend for English food because it still tastes better. Everything here has sugar in it. That's just
you could be right, but we're gonna have to die on that hill.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
I love that.
The UK food is horrible. I'm sorry. And I've been to plenty of countries in Europe and enjoyed the food, but the UK food,
like this is cat.
No, I mean it depends. Like if you're going to go for the English, like the food that isn't of our demographic.
Caribbean. I'm not talking about Caribbean now.
No,
that is Caribbean food. So when you deal with the other ethnicities that are there, but true English food, yeah, it's a no for me.
No, true English food is delicious. It's well cooked and it's not seasoned with sugar. It's seasoned with seasoning. Like if you go to like the fast food restaurants, like a regular KFC, just a couple wings, is delicious. Here it's grease, lard, and maybe they sprinkle some sugar in it. It just is different. I
hear you. I don't like KFC. I'm not a KFC fan. Truth be told, I don't really like Popeyes. I just happened to hear about that biscuit, and I do have a sweet tooth. And I had the biscuit one. They only had one left. That's how you know it was hidden. No. I couldn't even get two biscuits. They only have one.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
I tell you what, your biscuit, and also when I was in New York, the bakery, the pound cake, listen, was slapping. I can't lie to you. You know what? I visited there a few times. I'm sure they got sick of me because I visited there a few times. The cheesecake, what's it called? Thinking cheesecake or something like that? I can't remember what it's called. The shop.
Cheesecake Factory?
No, I think it's something. I think there's a name before the cheesecake or whatever. It's a very famous kind of thing in New York.
Juniors,
guys. Juniors, yes, Juniors.
Oh, Juniors. So Juniors. Right to my old job. My old job was right next to Juniors.
Yeah, listen, Juniors be slapping, man.
Every week.
It's heavy. I can't lie to you. I mess with it. The dessert was messing. I can't lie to you.
The old Juniors was even better than what you tasted. When it changed ownership, there was a slight change in the flavor.
Yeah.
It's changed.
Not you doing the slight coonery chip.
They franchised it.
Right. It
then
was a change.
Yeah,
It's
it's
changed.
not even as good as it used to be.
It's changed completely. Like the old, I would have people ship me cheesecake from New York to Philly when I lived in Philly. Like it was that good.
What?
That's how it roll. That's how we roll.
Do you know, it's so funny, when I got to the airport to go to Atlanta after New York, some people, they actually were stopping me to see what was in the bag with the juniors. I said, is it that popular? It's that popular. You actually like, it's a really big thing. So,
Yeah.
you know, shout out to the
I would have
junior
people
cheesecakes.
ship it, like overnight ship it to get me my cheesecake. And that's when it was really like, I don't know if they put blood in it, but it just tasted good. Like, none of that. I don't know. I don't know. What they put. I don't know.
Yo, oh man, we'll have to have a real conversation about this one day. We'll have the conversation about the differences between, you know, America and UK and some of the changes in there. You know, I think we can learn some things from Americans, and you know, I'm sure you guys can learn a few things from us as well. And you know, some taste in there. Do you know what I mean? But y'all do add a lot of sugar in your things.
Yeah,
but I do love
I
your
definitely can say, like, when you travel other places, people, it's a little more healthier. Even the portions, the way the food is made, even the freshness of food that you get when you visit certain places, it's very different than the US. You know, but I'm not gonna hold you. The US breakfast, the pancakes, the bacon, nice fluffy scrambled eggs.
That's like you're stealing English recipes and just trying to split them with pancakes. That's what I'm hearing.
Call it what you want to call it.
You said pancakes.
Pancakes instead of toast.
You ain't gonna take this from us.
Pancakes is German. It's actually German.
Pancakes instead of toast.
3 against 2. I'm sorry.
It's a combination between German and French because it's like the crepes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, crepes. I'll give you the crepes. I'll give you the
Belgian
crepes.
waffles.
But those are
If you're not
German,
going Belgian,
oh man,
Belgian.
Listen,
Ooh,
and this is where I was
Belgium.
born. Germany is another place. The food, it ain't hitting.
Not great.
Maybe get some Wiener Schnitzel, you know. But other than that, I'm not.
I wasn't a big fan of German bakery. I wasn't a fan of German bakery. Their McDonald's is wavy though. Their McDonald's is wavy. I can't lie to you. German McDonald's. Woo! It was hitting. It was hitting. I can't lie to you. It was hitting. But the rest of the stuff,
you have to visit the other parts with the influence to get the good food. But traditional German food is just not for me.
God caught him. See?
Too many onions.
God said it's a lie.
Pork, sausage, Wiener Schnitzel.
What do you know about that, bro? What you know about that, bro? Some of the sausages in German are.
Even when I went to Spain, when I lived in Spain, I lost like 10 pounds. And at that point, I didn't have 10 pounds to lose.
That's because there was no sugar in the diet.
I came back skinny as hell because I wasn't eating breakfast anymore. I wasn't eating that nasty behind breakfast. Just wasn't gonna do it.
Hey, German's eggs though. German scrambled eggs. I had some German scrambled. They were amazing. Can't lie to you, amazing. So, shout out to Germany for those. But
they do some things very well. The sauerkraut, I can mess with that. I love sauerkraut and bratwurst. I could do that.
The bratwurst, they were hard as well. The German market comes to the UK sometimes, a lot every year, Christmas time, and their sausages be hitting. Yo, the cockles always be out
every day, like just once, and that's it.
JR, why are you looking like you're about to start laughing?
Bro, you guys have had me laughing for the last few minutes, bro. I can't even believe it. Trust me. The thing about American breakfast is you take a lot of things from other countries. French toast, you know, the pancakes, like you said. Even, I think, you know, it's natural. It happens, right? You guys have customized other people's things to make it your own, and then you've added syrup and sugars. Even to meat, you guys add sugar to it. You know, you have bacon on your donuts, and you know, crazy things like that, man.
Bacon on donuts.
There's this special donut thing that they
and you have like what is it, the Luther burger and things like that.
Who is this? What's it called? Vampire Donuts? Somewhere in Florida. It was
Vampire Donuts.
There's something crazy. They put all sorts of stupid things on the donut, and people are gonna eat it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's what I love about Americans. They're not
popular now
scared.
putting bacon in things. They put bacon in ice cream.
They're not scared to get
Bacon
fat.
ice cream, yeah, it's crazy.
I love Americans. They're not scared to experiment. That's something I like about Americans. When I turn on my TikTok and I see some wild combinations. The other day I saw chicken wing pizza. I said, "This is wild, but you know what? I want to try it." That's the thing I like about Americans.
I don't want to try.
I want to try it. I want to
Plus,
try it, man.
I recommend everyone in the States do Whole30 in the beginning of the year, because you realize kind of how hard it is to actually do without the sugar. It's very hard to operate without the sugar, because you have to read everything. And then you start realizing that they're putting sugar in dumb stuff, like stuff that sugar shouldn't even be in.
Precisely.
To the point where I used to be beefing with the smoothie shops, because I'm like, I'm eating a kale spinach smoothie. Why do I have to tell y'all to take the sugar out of it? That should be a default. I'm asking for kale and spinach smoothie. Why is there sugar in here?
Add that flavor, baby.
That's crazy. But I'm clearly not looking for flavor. I'm looking for something else if I'm going and asking for a kale spinach smoothie.
Yo, I'm tired.
Health and wealth.
I'm tired.
Okay. No, of course, you've been eating.
Look, I already done a 12-hour shift, and I just happened to see y'all. I'm like, yo, it's the fam, and that's how I'm here. But I'm exhausted, though. But it's been a minute.
Indeed. We appreciate your solid defense of Mr. Morgan.
I had to jump on y'all going in like in the opposite direction, and like, yo, no, come on.
The way I will send Morgan your way, so she can talk to learn defense, Lola. I'll send her a clip of your work.
Yeah, like JR really don't like Morgan at all. Like usually you're like a cool, calm cat. Like you coming in.
Have you seen him at Jeffrey, Lola? You think he don't like Morgan?
Oh, for real?
Oh, like Jeffrey's way worse.
Damn. Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Listen, I like both of them. What are you talking about?
No.
JR.
Now you're gaslighting us.
JR be at Jeffrey's head.
Now he's gaslighting us.
He gives Morgan grace. He gives Jeffrey no grace.
What are you trying to suggest here?
Oh, see him talking smoothly. Like, what we're trying to suggest. Yeah, I say you're a smooth cat. That's all right. That's all right. Anthony,
listen, let me
don't forget to holler at me, okay?
Oh, gracious! Listen, audience, we're gonna go. So, it's been brilliant. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again tomorrow for Love Is Blind, episode 9, episode 10 breakdown, and then we'll be later on having Blake on the channel. He'll be doing his live as well. So all the ladies that were there saying they didn't like Blake, today's the day. Come and see him. I'm so praying. I'm so praying nothing unravels him.
Blake is a handsome man, but there's something wrong. That's all.
I also hope my interrogation does not unravel anything.
No,
I need to tread carefully. So turn up, you guys. 6 p.m. EST. Turn up, come and see, and we're gonna have a real conversation as well. So, yeah, it's been fun.
Chat. Blake,
they're gonna be in full force.
I knew Jeffrey was wrong. Blake.
Nah, Blake is just to warm your loins. Warm your loins and move on.